Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Costumeco. We're doing another live stream, a Thursday live stream to talk about House of the Dragon, episode 2.2, Rhaenyra the Cruel, which I didn't even know the name of the episode until like yesterday. I think they didn't really announce it ahead of time. So I believe that's the name of it. And as you can see, we have Becks the Cruel and Tatiana Melendez is here tonight. But apologies, everyone. I'm so sorry we're late. I was having some tech issues, and then we have a few more guests who will be coming on as well. They're going to be joining us. It's going to be an all-ladies night, so that'll be super fun. But anyway, thanks so much for everyone who's coming because the Dragon Demands told me there's an election debate tonight.
The debate's tonight, and I'm sorry if you don't know by now. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I'm assuming some people might just be watching it for entertainment purposes.
The sports bar I go to is airing it.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I'm Canadian. And Tatiana is, well, technically speaking, Tatiana, you are an American for all intents and purposes, right? Do you vote? Yeah. Do you?
Not really. We don't care. Whatever your president is going to be, we don't have any say in it because we're not allowed to vote. So.
Oh, okay. You don't vote.
They don't have representation.
We are a colony.
Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't sound like democracy, but anyway.
Yeah, no.
It's not. So we do have an American here, but Rebecca, you're obviously you don't care. You know what you're going to do.
I'll watch the highlights.
You can watch the highlights later. Yeah, I'll watch. I'll watch it on the late show. Yeah. But I want to say a few hellos to everybody before we get going. We've got Kitty's dressed in pink, and she's one of my patrons, as is Rebecca. Margis Scandari, hello. She says Panama is Usa's Valyrian steel. Oh, they're having a chat here about something. That's very cool. Mother Royne in the house. Woohoo!
Hello.
And Sherry, hi Sherry. You know, Sherry, that's actually my mom's name. Or my mom would.
That's Tatiana.
Sherry.
Oh, is that you? Oh, sorry. You said you're doing Sherry.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So Tatiana, my mom's name is Sherry. Spelled the CHER, except with an E on the end. Sherry.
Oh, yeah. My sister is Sherry-Ann.
And then Mina's here. And hi, fandom.
Hi, fandom.
Fandom, we want to have you on. So let us know. I'm going to message you and see what dates you're available to come on and talk about House of the Dragon. Or House of the Dragons, as Jenny Tamim, the old costume designer, used to call it.
What did she call it?
She called it House of the Dragons. Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Like it is, there's more than one.
I just call it Hot D.
Hot D.
Hot D.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't even know where to begin here. Why don't we go around and you lovely ladies can just give me your, what you think overall. Like we haven't had Tatiana yet. Yeah. So Tatiana, you can even just sort of give us what you think of episode 1 and 2 all together. What do you want? We'll go to you first.
Since I wasn't here last week.
You weren't here. I know.
I had a rehearsal. So I am loving the series so far. I am so much is going on in just like a few days. Just Jesus Christ. And can I just say how much I despise Krispy Kreme so goddamn much? I think he's the one that I hate the most. And that's coming from a show that has Aemon and Aegon and Daemon and Otto.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my crown on.
Oh, those bastards. Krispy Kreme is the one I hate the most because oh my God. And Allison, oh my fucking God. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? The hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I saw that bitch getting her pussy snacked on like a goddamn lollipop, I was like, ooh, hypocrisy.
Yep.
Hypocrisy. Oh my God. Oh my God. I want him to die the most embarrassing death. Like, I want his death to put Tywin's death to shame. I don't know how you can get worse than dying on the shitter, but God, I hope they do. Because that sanctimonious little shit stain, like,
Yeah, like even Joffrey, who's super evil, was like way more
at
likable.
least Joffrey was enjoyably evil.
He was, yeah,
At least Aegon is funny.
yeah.
At least Aegon and Aemon are self-aware of their bullshittery. Kristen Cole, I think, you know who Kristen Cole is to me? Kristen Cole is a Dolores Umbridge of Westeros. That's who he gives me. Like, the sanctimonious, righteous bullshittery. The fact that he is bangeranging Alicent in Rhaenyra's room when that was the reason why they both went against Rhaenyra.
He's a medieval
Hi,
incel.
Tanya. How you doing? I'm
Hi,
just
Tanya.
about Krispy Kreme.
I will say he's not an incel because he's getting it.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, like I said, like he's like he's a nice guy.
He's the nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, that trope. Hi, Tanya. Tanya, we're just sort of going around giving our first impressions. So Tatiana's just, she wasn't here. Neither were you for our first episode. So she's just sort of giving her overall impressions, and then after Becks, I'll come to you. Okay.
Okay.
By the way, thank you for being here.
No problem.
Okay, Tatiana, keep going.
Okay.
You're on a roll.
Okay. I'm hot. Also, outside
I have my fan on.
Outside of the bullshittery that is, like, when you focus in on the bullshittery that is Alicent, I guess that's their couple name now. Fuck them. The bullshit heads.
What's their combined name?
Alicent, I guess.
Alicent.
Or Kristen.
Oh my
Croissant.
God.
I'm just gonna call him Croissant.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I'd find another place for my glass of wine.
Like, if we're going at this objectively, which is it's really hard to do. It's interesting because theirs is a relationship of power, which is considered throughout the entire show. Because when we first see them in the first episode, he is totally the bottom. Like, she is totally the dom. She is the dom in this BDSM relationship. He's eating her out. Thank you. I try. I do.
Hi,
try.
Lodi.
But basically, Alicent is the dom in this coupling because like he's hitting her out, she's riding him like down to the sunset off a cliff.
She's smacking him in the face.
She's smacking him in the face, but and this is the interesting thing. But after he is made Hand of the King. Bad move by Aegon, by the way. He's the one throwing her against the wall. He's the one putting his hand up her punani. He's the one that's asserting control. Basically, he's saying, I'm no longer your bitch. You're my bitch now. And Alicent, who thought she had some measure of control over Kristen for all her righteous bullshittery, she is once again back to square one as the realm's bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Because not even the goddamn guard can stay under her control for long. Hers is an illusion of control, and she is so not in denial. And that made me laugh for a little bit. Going off Alicent and Rhaenyra and Alicent and Kristen, the rest of the show, I adore. Emma Darcy they are my queen. I love them. They are everything. Team Black all the way. I have my black eyeliner. I got my red necklace. I got my black shirt underneath.
Yes.
I am Team Black.
Get your black eyeliner.
The acting, stellar. If they are not at least nominated for an Emmy, like there is no justice in this goddamn world. They're acting in episode 1, only one sentence in the entire episode, and it was like, mwah. And I don't know what it was about episode 2. I don't know if it because she was disheveled and dirty in the first episode or what. But Rhaenyra looked so goddamn gorgeous. It's episode 2. Like, she looked ethereal. She looked like she could be like. She looked like she should have been cast as Galadriel, and not the other actress. No shame to the actress because she's gorgeous, but like she just had like an aura about her, and I adored it. And the scene between her and Daemon, master class, so goddamn good. I love them. Oh, top 3 most unlikable characters: Kristen, Otto, and Laris.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
asked like if they mean in a bad way or a good way.
Yeah.
'Cause I have like two
Good, bad, or bad,
different-
good.
I mean, Aegon is like number 4, Aemon is like number 5, but like Kristen,
I love Aemon.
Kristen, Laris, and Otto that's the order.
Yeah. What about you, Rebecca? What are your thoughts on this episode? Because we had you here last week.
I love this episode. It was great. Zozo in the chat like mentioned, and I agree with this. Like ending the episode with Sir Hunch and Munch and Allison. I stole that. I stole that from
Yeah.
I was in AK's stream on Monday, so yeah, it's good, right? So like ending the episode with that was really disappointing, and it's like, like I get it. I understand why like their relationship is now tossed in there, but like, you know, it's like if it's gonna take away from like other stuff, like I don't care. I really don't care. I think like they're both fucked up enough, you know, and I'm being salty because if I didn't get a hot sex scene with Rhaenyra and Sir Daddy Strong,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see this bullshit. Like, period.
I
Like,
know, I miss Daddy Strong so much.
I miss Daddy Strong so much.
Yeah.
Come back, my Aussie prince.
But
Well, go ahead. Are you?
I
go
was
ahead,
just
Rebecca.
gonna say, like, I really love the episode. The auto firing scene. I think aside from like the actual, you know, Eric and Arik fight scene, like, it was a brilliant scene.
I love the auto firing scene. That was another masterclass. Otto, because you know we see Otto and he don't break. That man's face is like stone. But when Aegon kills the rat catchers, when he kills innocent people, after everything he did to make sure that everyone was on Aegon's side, he just goes and bam. It's like, you motherfucking a-hole! Everything. And I think the best part of that scene was him finally mourning Viserys. Like, it just that's what it hit him. He's one of those people where like his best friend dies and he doesn't really get it until like months later, and he's like,
But apparently it was only like 10 days. It hasn't even been that long.
Yeah, it's like it was
like 2 weeks
10 days. So
That's why Alicent having a fling with Krispy Kreme is
like
so. Yeah, I want to bring Tanya in because I'll bring Tanya in and then we'll start talking about the specific scenes. Tanya, hi. She's been sitting there quietly.
Sorry.
I'm so
How
obedient.
Hi, how are you? You have to just talk
good.
over
How
us.
are you?
Good. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. And Alicia might come in
me.
soon too. So anyway, you weren't here last week. Tatiana wasn't here last week. So did you want to just give an overview of what you thought of episode 1 and 2?
Sure. So far I've loved both episodes. I don't really offhand have any complaints that I can think of. Let's see. No, you know what? I did have one complaint that Nikki and I talked about was that I wish we had seen more of Jaehaerys and Jaehaera last season so that when Jaehaerys is killed, it's more impactful. because it's already a horrible thing that happened to a kid. So that's already like horrible. And then the sounds of it happening, I thought was really disturbing. And I'm glad they didn't show it happening, but the sounds themselves are really disturbing. But it didn't have, we compared it to the Red Wedding, where like, it's not just that this horrible thing happened, but it's these people that you've held on to for all this time. And I felt that if they had either shown us more of the children, I kind of felt that the children were just kind of props last season, or if they had shown us somewhat, since this is the first episode of the season, if they had showed us at some point last season, Helena really doting on them, or Aegon really doting on them, so that you can kind of feel that relationship, so that us, the viewer, could have a relationship with them. I wish they had done that, because I think it would have made Blood and Cheese that much more horrifying.
You know, the one thing I'll say about that, like, you know, I think there's something about, you know, the fact that like all these heirs and all these children like end up being kind of inconsequential in the long run, like, because I felt like it was more about Helena, and it's going to be more about Helena's trauma. And like, and I'm not disagreeing, like it would have been great if we could see more of the kids, but there were so many kids. And like all they gave us was like the one scene with Aegon bringing him to the small council meeting, which was just kind of annoying. I mean, it was good, but you know, I just felt that scene was so much more centered around Helena's terror and her trauma. And like, even like, you know, as she's running, it's very Hitchcockian, where like, you know, the terror, like, you know, they kind of just like kept on her face in that long tracking shot of her running out of the room, even while you're hearing it. Like, that's like the real terror, as opposed to like actually like seeing something like really gruesome.
Yeah, I think if it was going to be more about Helena, then I think they should have made her choosing which child a little bit more harrowing than, you know, I don't know. I mean, I felt like the actress, was her name Fia something?
Yeah.
I thought she did a great job at being traumatized. I've really enjoyed her so far.
Yeah.
But I think I just didn't feel connected to it. And it could be because I know how it happens in the book, you know, the idea of like choosing which child has to die. And I think if we're going to make it more about Helena's trauma, then although it would involve having a child that has been written out, that would have made it that much more impactful for me if I want to look at it as more as Helena's trauma than of a horrific act being done to a child.
Yeah.
I see it. I mean, I mean, I haven't read the book, but I do know what happens. I've been spoiled about for it in the book, and I like both scenes for different reasons. I think they're like both valid scenes to have. The one in the book is gruesome and brutal, and Jesus Christ, what they do to little Maelor. But what I liked about the show's version is that there was such a disturbing intimacy about it. It was because she doesn't scream, and yet we could have had a Catelyn Stark scream at the end, but it doesn't work, I think, with how they have characterized Helena at this point. She doesn't react to things how, say, Catelyn would, for example. Like, I love the fact that she is so traumatized. It's all in her face. It's all she can't scream, and maybe in her mind she says she's saying to herself, if I scream, they'll kill us all. They won't just kill one. They'll kill both of them. They'll kill us and them, everyone. She is so traumatized. She literally disassociates to the point where she can't even say his name. She just says they killed the boy. She can't say, she does. It's not my boy. It's not my son. It's not Jaehaerys. It's the boy.
And And that's also like I thought that line was so interesting because again, like these kids are only there to, you know, and it's not to say
be murdered.
Well, to be murdered, but like they're only like, you know, like props, and it's like his importance was because he was the boy, you know, and like that they were like
and the heir.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
And there's
like,
also the fact, and there's also the fact that she was embroidering his funeral shroud before it even happened. And she says, "I'm scared of the rats." She's a dreamer. She doesn't understand what she dreams, or she doesn't, or it's more of a feel than an actual vision. But she like was absentmindedly embroidering a burial shroud while saying, "Beware of the rats." So what is going on in her mind? Like the fact is the Helena in the book, we don't know that much about her, at least from what I've heard of people who have talked about Blood and Sheaths in the book. There is not a lot said about her other than she was a happy child. So there's not a lot of characterization. So the characterization that we do have is mostly from the show. And she is portrayed as neurodivergent, which I love. So the fact that she doesn't scream or doesn't have what we will consider a typical response to what has happened is perfectly valid to me, because you don't respond the same way to something so traumatic. Like Catelyn Stark could scream her head off, but she just freezes. And
I don't want to discount that, like, it's horrific that she watched her child get murdered and that, you know, she had to tell them which one's the boy. And I don't think that her reaction, I think her reaction is in line with what we've seen from her character so far. She's not hysterical, you know, she doesn't seem to have very big emotions, and she's in shock. So I don't think her reaction was wrong. I think that just us as the viewer, or me, I should say, didn't feel as connected, or I don't know how else to put it other than like connected to the characters enough to really feel for them. Like outside of it just being, you know, it's like you hear about a terrible thing in the news and it's like horrible, you know, it's horrible. But if you see it happen, like it fucks you up a little bit. And that's kind of how I felt about it. It was like, you know, this horrible thing is happening. All right, what's the next scene?
You know, my biggest disappointment, or my biggest gripe about season 1, is I felt we spent way too much time in like that first time period. You know, so we only got 5 episodes, like after the time jump, and probably only a couple episodes when those kids were even around.
Yeah.
You know, like they just, you know, they spent so much time developing. I mean, it's kind of a minor gripe for me, but you know, like I agree. Like they could have done more. They could have done a little bit more groundwork to, like, you know, help us out a little bit.
I think they were expecting it to be like the Red Wedding, and I didn't find it like the Red Wedding. It was like, you know, it was horrific. But
I think they purposely made it not be the Red Wedding.
Well,
like,
I think
it's like violent spectacle.
I think the producers were sort of saying this was sort of House of the Dragon's Red Wedding, which because the Red Wedding didn't even happen until like season 4 or something.
3.
The
end of
well, okay.
I mean, I compared it to Jaehaerys. I'm sorry, Jaehaerys getting killed. There's too many. These names are just ridiculous.
I know.
I compared it to. I'm sorry, Lucerys. God.
Yeah.
I compared it to Lucerys getting killed.
Yeah.
We've gotten to know Lucerys, and we watched it unfold, and we were tense, and you know what I mean. I feel like Lucerys's death to me was more impactful because we knew Lucerys and we got to at least see his relationship with other people.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I needed like 3 episodes where like we find out the children's hobbies.
Sure.
But like they were background props in the first season. You know, there was not like, and I mean, part of it is showing that maybe she's not that connected to her children in that way, but you kind of forget that they're even there until it's time to kill them.
Hi, Cassie.
Hey.
Alicia's here. Hi, Alicia, and I hear a cat.
That was me.
Oh, that was you.
Good
Okay.
evening, ladies.
Hi, Alicia.
evening.
How are you?
I am all right. Apologies for my tardiness.
Oh, no problem at all. Thank you so much for joining us. We were just sort of giving our overview. Well, we kind of were talking a little bit about episode 1 because Tatiana and Tanya weren't here for episode 1. So did you want, now that you just joined us, do you want to just sort of give us a quick, your thoughts on episode 2.2? Rhaenyra the Cruel?
Episode 2, I liked it. I dislike the name of the episode
Mhm.
because it's very unfitting, but we're looking at a narrative that's being smeared all over the place by Team Green, so to be expected, I suppose. But all in all, there were several things I liked. I still have all of the discourse to give to Sir Crispy because he bothers me that much.
Same.
Outside of that, I think what's his name? Our two new characters, Alan and Adam. I think
Fault?
some more breadcrumbs should be dropped. I think about why they're actually there and what their purpose is going to be, and they do have some very good purposes coming up. I won't spoil for people that don't know what's coming. And outside of that, also, then just I really like this episode. They kept it to basically just like the two main conflicts, but they were back and forth a whole lot with everything. And I liked the back and forth. I hated seeing that end fight, but then I also loved seeing that end fight.
Sir Mediocre
feelings a
white
bit.
dude.
Sir Mediocre.
I was just okay. So, is it Sanrixian?
Yes.
I apologize. I know I follow you on Twitter, and I apologize that I haven't pronounced your name before. But also, Cassie shared a link to her. She's a wonderful artist, so she shared a link to your shop.
Wonderful art.
Sanri did my channel art for me, actually.
Amazing.
So, yes, I can also say she is very good.
So she asked this question. I love to hear from a costuming perspective why the greens outfits work better than the blacks. I don't know. Maybe it's me, but the greens have serious drip this season when it's appropriate for the convo. Okay, well, Tatiana, you can tell me what you think. I actually think the blacks costumes are really solid.
I prefer the black.
I think definitely Allison has, she has some, especially in the next episode coming up, she has some gorgeous costumes this season. And last year, I feel like Rhaenyra didn't get she didn't get the,
she deserves.
Yeah, she didn't get the costume she deserved. I felt like some of her stuff was called in. I think you guys know how I feel about last season. Whereas this season, she's got some, like that one scaly black gown that she wears in the first episode. Unbelievable, with the flowing cape at the end when she's like at the funeral, and that silvery gray blue one she wore in the last episode, absolutely stunning.
I love the red dress that she wore this last episode. She looks so freaking beautiful.
Yeah, the makeup department did a really well. The wigs are better this year, I think. True. And also
they let Jace have his own hair, which he looks absolutely so goddamn handsome. He looks like an actual prince, and not like the member of a 2010s boy band.
Yeah. So I don't know. So Tatiana, you like the blacks better than the greens?
Yeah, I mean, I do like aspects of Allison's, and I did like Aegon's
his
the doublet, the embroidery on the doublet.
Yeah.
I did like him, and I did love Helena's dressing gown. And
that was beautiful.
Nightgown. But like I pay more attention to the blacks. I
think it's probably just a subjective thing. Like, for instance, I had someone comment on a video today saying that they love House of the Dragon costumes way better than Game of Thrones. And I'm like, and he explained why. And I said, I really appreciate your perspective. I don't agree with you like at all, but you guys know how I feel. We'll have to see how this series plays out, right? And then, I just like Michelle Clapton for me is like way up here. So it's really hard for me to, We'll have to see
Oh,
because she
yeah.
had 8 years to, do
Well,
her
7.
work.
Well, technically 7. She wasn't there for what season?
She came back for the last 2 episodes, though. It was just she missed like I think 8 episodes, and then she came back for episode 9 and 10, like Cersei's coronation gown
Well,
and the
7
blow up the septon.
7 2/4.
Yes, she still won an Emmy for it, though. She won an Emmy for that season, which she shared. But anyway, so I think it's going to be just one of the things. What about you, Rebecca? What do you think of the greens and the blacks costumes? I know you're not a costumey lady, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, like I kind of I agree. Like I think I get more of a reaction overall to the greens, and I think really it's like that the Aegon doublet is so cool.
Mhm.
And I really like the color green, and especially like that emerald green that they're using, but I could be wrong. I probably am, but do Rhaenyra's costumes look a little ill-fitting?
They were last year for sure. This
I
year
feel
they're
like
much better.
They're better. There's
Mhm.
something like I didn't like her red dress as much. Like I love like it looked like it was like tree limbs or like that pattern on
Ramble.
like the collar, but I like the black dress better from episode 1. Like
Yeah,
there
me
was
too.
something like oddly fitted about the dress she was wearing.
A doublet is just a men's jacket, like a medieval Renaissance jacket. And it's kind of a carryover from Game of Thrones. So Michelle Clapton, I should say, used to call it a long line doublet. So I just sort of call it that. In the same way I call it riding leathers, which I didn't make it up, like someone else said that, but what they wear riding their dragons. We had last week we had Casta Hex on, and he was so great because he kind of went through a bunch of the costumes with us, and he got to see a lot of them in person. So Aegon's green coat, for instance, he said it's absolutely stunning, like gorgeous. Yeah. And I think we did discuss the lighting a little bit last episode, that they have lightened up the show. They did take some notes from the fans, and they lightened up the show a bit just so the colors pop a bit more. What about you, Tanya? What do you think of the costumes so far in season 2?
So I hadn't really thought about it a lot. So thinking about it right now, I will say that emerald green is like my favorite color. So I've definitely been enjoying seeing what the greens are wearing. But I think I've mostly enjoyed Rhaenys's very like militaristic outfits and like the armor she wears. I think that's been my favorite thing to see, just like overall. And I'm glad she doesn't have that, like she has that like ponytail, but she doesn't have that weird hump in her hair anymore. I really hated that.
God. Oh, that was awful.
I hated that.
And they did away with
like
Rhaenyra's.
Oh, you did?
I'm so happy for her.
Yes, you should get a doublet.
Did you ever see like the Baron, the Adventures of Baron Munchausen? And when he goes to the moon, like Robin Williams, I don't know the lady, but she has like their hair. You have to like look up the wigs from like the moon people from Baron Munchausen. That there's something that reminds me of like Rainy's wig. I'll find a picture.
I thought I compared it to one of those dinosaurs. There's a dinosaur that has sort of like scales like that.
That makes sense too.
Yeah. Fandom says, someone said Cersei every time Cersei shows. You say Cersei 3 times. By the way, speaking of green, my favorite costume that Cersei wears in Game of Thrones is her green gown. Do you guys remember it? Tatiana knows it.
Yeah, I remember it.
I love that gown. And in the book, I think her favorite color is green.
Yes, it's the gown she wears when she tears up Robert's.
Oh yeah, and she's wearing her little tiara, and then she's got like these beads, like kind of like Swarovski beads or something, like just long strands of beads. And then I think it was just so gorgeous, and the fabric was Amazing. And that was the only time she ever wore green in the show. So maybe that was a callback to
Sad,
the High Towers, the Greens. I'm not sure.
maybe.
Yeah, Eve Best
Well,
has.
She was usurping the throne like the Green, so
Mhm.
A lot of like what was written in Fire and Blood wasn't. I guess it depends. A lot there are things that like are. It's after Game of Thrones. It's after like when he started writing like the main series. So, I don't even remember like if the blacks and greens were specifically mentioned in the main series. I mean, the Dance of the Dragon. Well, no, they had to have been. Like the Dance of the Dragons was mentioned, but like not all these details that we got from Fire and Blood.
Yeah, by the way, so Kitty says Casta posted on their Instagram recently that they also worked on Allison's funeral procession gown, the embroidery, I believe. And actually, we kept him till like what, 3:00 in the morning or something, because he's in London. So he stayed on, and we actually were looking at the pictures and everything, and he made all of the little loops like by hand that go around the neckline of her funeral procession. By the way, did you all notice that she dropped that gown on the floor? I was like, what the fuck? Allison, like she kind of goes into her room, and Krispy Kreme is standing outside her room, and she wants to have a bath, and she sort of just tears it off and she drops it on the floor. I mean, the wardrobe person must have been just like, what the fuck?
I thought that was to show like her struggling without servants.
No, I know. I just was like, I mean, imagine being the wardrobe. Imagine working on that gown for months and then having
and seen it thrown on the floor.
Yeah.
I would throw her on the floor.
Oops. So what did I do here? I'm trying to add.
No,
Alicia, were you here? I thought I was trying to add Alicia.
Yeah,
Senrixine says yes. We all call him Krispy Kreme. So, by the way, so you remember I told you I got attacked by some greens about my post about Sir Krispy Kreme, because and that was Tatiana. That you were the person who first said that to me, and then I used it, and then someone said I was like a school teacher trying to be cool and dressing up like my students. So anyway, I was like, fuck it, I'm sharing it again. I shared it out again, and because the post was about his, he's like, he wears the hand of the king chain, like the chain of hands. So I shared that out, and as we guys remember, probably Tyrion also wore that on his armor. And then Lord Aaron wore it when he was lying in state. We barely saw it, but yeah, so that's me. I'm like a school teacher dressing up like my students to be cool.
You're a cool school teacher. I wish I had a school teacher like you.
Thanks, Tatiana. Yeah, I thought that was so funny. Just like Catelyn smudging her gowns in the mud in winter. Hi, Penelope. That's a great name, by the way.
My cat's name.
What's that? That's right.
That's my cat's name.
It is your cat's name.
Penelope.
Okay. Oh, so Penelope says because it pops up her eyes, she wears emeralds the size of eggs and such. Are you talking about Alicent?
Cersei.
Oh, Cersei. Yes. So anyway, what else should we talk about? We touched a little bit on the costumes. Hi, Lone Wolf. Have a nice group of people in here tonight. We have the best viewers.
I did want to kind of bring up, so like the opening of the episode, I really I loved it. So the director, her name is Claire Kilner. She directed 3 episodes last year. She did King of Narasee, We Light the Way, and The Green Council. And this opening was very reminiscent of both. Well, one, The Green Council, because it was the episode after Viserys died, and it starts with this like little boy like running through the halls of the Red Keep, because he's delivering the news to one of one of the ladies' maids who's like a spy that the king is dead. But it like the way he's like running through and no one's there. It was just like kind of a neat parallel with the way that this episode opened, and like the sound design was so great. It was like this very dissident, like you can only, hear like muffles and nothing was very clear. And it was just like the music like really drove the scene. It wasn't just like in the background. Like, and she's, I think, my favorite of the directors so far. Like, I feel like when you watch her episodes, it's like, oh yeah, she has a very distinct style. She's also the brothel director because she also directed like the big brothel scene in season 1, the one with Damon and Rhaenyra, young Rhaenyra.
Yes.
And so she got another brothel scene, and that overhead shot of Aemond, like that lizard, like he looked reptilian. He also, like, everyone says like he also looked like like Voldemort in like the last Harry Potter, like when he's just kind of like hunched like in the fetal
in the Horcrux.
Yeah. And it was I just wanted to like give a little due to Claire Kilner, because I think she's got I think she's a great director, and like I think her episodes become very memorable, and there's like a feeling and a tone to them that I don't want to say a softness, because she's obviously like, she did this big fight scene, she did the scene with Maylee's like exploding from the dragon pit, like she's done all that stuff, but there's just a moodiness and like a texture to her, like an emotional texture to her episodes that I think are just refreshing.
Yeah, and it was written by a woman, maybe co-written by a woman. It's
Sarah,
by the way, are we not sort of like really delighted to see that there are now women in the writing room and women directing these episodes?
God, yes, long time coming.
Yeah, there was one lady who directed a couple episodes in Game of Thrones, but I think she was on one of those like really crappy seasons.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, there's nothing you could have done with that.
Yeah, you can only, yeah. So,
Tanya,
what do you think about that? Do you find there's a difference with having a female,
I haven't actually looked at who directed.
Sure.
Anything,
yeah, I watched the behind the scenes of it. So I have to rewatch the episode. I did rewatch episode 1. So I needed to rewatch it because, me, I'm always looking at the costumes. So I sometimes, like you, Rebecca, I miss out on the music. The music has been amazing though, like from what I recall.
Yeah.
Rami is, am I saying it? Ramin. Apologies. Ramin. He's so talented. Like he's on like 3 different shows. Like the guy, like come on. He's a superstar.
Movies and
yeah. He's so talented. But I did watch the behind the scenes. The one thing that was really, I thought was so funny, I mean, it wasn't funny in the show, but was Aegon destroying the Valyrian model, which they had to build.
That apparently broke my heart.
Yeah, I know. And then did you guys all see that Patty Cosendine actually tweeted a meme about it?
Yes.
No, I didn't see that.
It was like
I'll
Viserys up in heaven with a halo. Someone said, "What? He's in heaven?" That was funny, actually. So he's up in heaven with a halo, and he's like pissed that Aegon destroyed his Lego set. And then Patty Cosendine shared it because he's hilarious. So
I would love to work with Patty Cosendine, honestly.
Oh, he's so talented. So what did you guys think of that? And I loved how I don't know, like I know they're called handmaidens. What do you call your lords? What do you call like a king's men's? Like, like they're
crap. I know this. Like stewards.
Pages.
Pages. Yeah, so he's got those clowns, the ones that he was on the throne with drinking. His bros, dude bros. So they're in the room with him trying to like calm him down, and he's like, "No, fuck it." And I don't even know what he's got. It was funny because I watched another behind the scenes, and they said that Aegon just kind of like he moved into his dad's apartment, and he didn't even remodel it or anything. He just because he could have, right? Because he's the king.
I mean,
Although it's only been
like,
10 days.
Yeah.
But he could have said, like,
on his
remove
attendance,
this.
he still feels the weight of his father
Yeah.
over him.
Attendance? Yeah, that might be it. So that was kind of funny. But I was glad to hear, though, that they did recreate it for the show because they've kept the other one because it's kind of like I'll probably go on tour or something. So that was interesting. So what did you all think about Aegon's reaction to it? I mean, he, as Tatiana said, he does at least have a little bit of comic relief. And I think Tom, the actor, he's just brilliant. I think he's going to be a huge star. I don't know what you all think about that.
Oh yeah, he's doing great. Like, do you have any idea the Herculean effort that had to go to make this asshole rapist patron of fighting pits where children are made to kill each other and also have bastard children fighting in them pits? Do you know the Herculean effort it takes for us to even begin to sympathize with an asshole like that? And somehow they're making it happen. Why? Because Tom Carney is eating us up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Honestly, great directing and great acting. That's what's working.
Well,
I loved
like
his reaction. I loved that he was enraged first. You know, it's a slight against him, and yeah, he felt rage before he felt grief, which I thought was interesting and kind of shows you that it's a slight against him first. It's not just that he's lost his son, but that you've taken the heir and like in my own house. And
and that
yeah,
the dragon that's flying above didn't protect them.
Right, it didn't protect them after he even told Helena not to worry. And you know, we have the best sword in the realm, Aemon. We have Vagar, like everything's fine, and yet someone was still able to come into their house. And I especially loved when he confronted Krispy Kreme about, you know, where were you? Because I was saying to Nikki that like heads should roll for this. If you know it's the Lord Commander's job to be sent to decide where people are posted, right? And there was no one posted, and then he's distracted. He's distracted because he's smashing the queen. I wouldn't have put it past. I would have forgiven Aegon for beheading him for failing in that duty.
Not
only was he distracted, not only was he distracted because of Alicent, he didn't post anyone to guard the royal quarters.
That's exactly what
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like that was his job. So I don't fault the rest of the guard for not being there because there's someone who directs that. And he, as the director of where everyone should be, he's clearly not on his game because he's distracted by other things. He's really bad at his job. And so
and then they gave him a bigger job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He failed up. He failed up, and his head should have rolled for it.
Someone was saying he hasn't been Lord Commander that long, though, right?
No, he'd only like the 10 days.
10 days. So he's only
been
Lord Commander.
Moved up.
Yeah, and then as Tanya said, now he's failed up.
Yeah.
Which is sort of typical in business. We see that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Harold Westerling. Where is Harold, by the way? Can someone explain where he went?
Need Harold to come make sense of the bullshittery that's happening.
I wondered where he was too.
Yeah, like it's already like not how it is in the books. With I don't know what happened to him.
Maybe the actor couldn't do it.
No clue. No, because like again, I think it's going back to it probably because everything's getting so condensed.
Oh, and Natural says he quit. I couldn't remember that.
Well, yeah,
but he's. I don't want to like. We were expecting like a Barristan Selmy kind of situation where it's like,
right.
He left and his thing is like, you guys figure this fucking out. I'm out until you do it because I'm not the one to make the choice.
Right.
And so that's what he did. But it's
where is he now?
Yeah, because he's a pretty what's the actor's name? He's pretty high profile. He's from like Outlander and
but I think the thing is, it's like they wanted to get to Eric and Arik, and again, we have 8 episodes. Like he might just be a casualty of.
I think so much happened in these
High
2 episodes that
imagination.
you forget it's only been 2 episodes.
But but I think they gave they gave Eric like a couple of his plot lines. So.
Yeah. I just want to mention, Reflective is saying there was some weirdness online with what's the Krispy Kreme actor? Help me here. Fabian Frankel being harassed on Instagram. Yeah, it's not awful. Okay, I don't know what is wrong with the fandom, and I've noticed this has been going on for years, that people will target actors for their characters, and I just don't understand that. Like, do these people live in an alternative reality or something?
Don't know how to differentiate between actor and character. They see the actor, they see the character.
Thanks, kitties.
It's basically like Daniel Radcliffe basically being only known as Harry Potter. He's done
what's his name, who played Joffrey, who quit acting.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, and you know what's funny? He was in another show.
Or Rosemary something, the one that played Rose in the Star Wars sequels. She got hella harassed, and she was
Finn
for her life.
Yeah.
And people don't know how to differentiate. Like people, hi, look at me, hi. Actors are not the characters. We are just doing a job. We do our job. We portray someone else. We stop portraying that someone else, and we go back to being ourselves. And then we get paid for it. Once the cameras start rolling, once the curtain goes down on the play, we are ourselves. The characters do not exist anymore. So please, you harassing the actors is not making justice for whatever character that you like or don't like. You're just being assholes. So stop.
You know what? Luckily, the people who watch our channel and this live stream, they're not those people. Thank God. We have lovely, lovely people.
I do have one funny story though, because you brought up Daniel Radcliffe. I was in an elevator with him one time, and it took all of my energy not to say, "Yo, wizard, Allie." It was like him and like his manager, and I was
our tips.
Like that was the most intense.
That's awesome.
Floor elevator ride I've ever had in my life.
I was going to say, actually, someone said something here and I was going to comment on it. Yeah. Young Anakin, who was Jake Lloyd. That was just, he was a little boy.
Yeah. I mean,
and even the actor who plays Corlys Velaryon, he got a bunch of racists dogpiled him.
Yeah. The racism is insane.
Yeah.
Well, the idea that people get so upset when fictional characters are changed from like what the original, what the original like description was, and it's like you have a problem whether we
can have dragons, but not black people. That's too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
or like a mermaid. Have a mermaid be a person of color,
right?
And that's like,
right? Like you like,
my God.
The mermaid part is fine, okay, like that part's realistic to you.
I have it was funny because there's another show called The Acolyte, and I thought it was really interesting because they have this Asian actor wearing like Japanese clothing, and I'm like, and people were.
I saw your tweet about that.
And it was so funny because they get so angry that there's people of color in Star Wars, which is based off of like Kurosawa. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, those people. Anyway, I'm just going to enjoy my Star Wars properties, and they can go fuck themselves. Those people. That's all I can say.
Yeah, let's go with that.
I wanted to actually. Someone was asking, who do we think won the fight? Do we think it was Arik or Eric?
Eric.
Yeah. But okay, this is what I wanted to posit.
I thought it was clear that it was Eric.
Yeah, but this is what I wanted to posit. Would it matter if it was Eric, because he didn't want to go there and kill her, right? I mean, that was Krispy Kreme who
Arik.
who
Arik is
yeah.
the one that went to.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
the one who
he
infiltrated
had
and
no
pretended to
choice.
be the twin.
Yes. Well, he yeah.
Or
The
he is
other-
a twin. Sorry, didn't pretend to be. He
Arik
pretended to be the
Arik
other twin.
is the green, Eric is the black.
Yeah. So I was thinking about that today. I was thinking it doesn't I'm thinking it doesn't really even matter because they didn't really have a choice, right? They did a battle to the death and they've killed, like, they love this person that they came into the world with.
Well,
Probably no
I
more
think
than
had it-
anyone.
I think had it been Eric,
He would have said
he would have had to attempt to kill Rhaenyra and be killed just to make it worth it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Worth
okay.
killing
he
his
would-
brother.
he was gonna die anyway.
Right.
You know,
So
like
I think the only way, if it had been Eric who survived, the only way that could have ended is he attempts
He
to
would-
kill her anyway while wounded
Or
and with a
like
guard
trying
that could
to-
take him out.
trying to escape. Like he was never going to be able to escape Dragonstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
knew that.
Without, yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to bring something up that feels like it kind of didn't come to anything. Mysaria, when she was going down to the boat and she saw him, what do you
Okay,
think
I
happened
have
there?
thoughts about that.
Okay, Tanya, you
I
go
do too.
first. Okay, you go first, Tanya, then Becks, then Tatiana.
I think that off-screen Mysaria warned someone, a guard, or sent one of the guards she was with to go tell someone, because we see Eric and he's kind of sees something in the shadows and he looks around, but he's not quite sure. But he bursts into Rhaenyra's room and something had to make him know, you know what I mean? Something like, because what could have been in the shadows could have been anything. But he knew to go to Rhaenyra's room. He knew with the back turned. I mean, I guess he could have recognized his ponytail, but he knew immediately what was going on. And I think that off screen, she must have told the guard, and someone ran back and warned him so that he knew what it was that he thought he had seen.
Okay, what about you, Rebecca?
Yeah, I agree. Like it happened off screen. I can't imagine like while like once
Mhm.
once Arik is in the castle and like they're doing to cut to and, like having this whole like, oh my god, he's here. Like I think that would have like taken away like all the tension. Like I think it would just slow the scene down. We saw it. We saw her see him. We saw her stop and say like, wait, like, and it happens a lot in episodes, and it's one of those things, especially because like we pick apart every episode. Like we're here, and like how many other live streams have we watched or podcasts that we listened to already? But we pick everything apart. But it's very typical for the show. Like you didn't see Damon say a son for a son to Blood and Cheese,
Mhm.
but you got it.
But it's there.
Yeah,
He said that.
Yeah, and I think it's just a little bit of a style that they do too. I mean, like it's a storytelling device that they like to do. So
Also, with the Eric, because I saw in the comments someone thought it was Eric, but Eric wouldn't have called her Your Grace and apologized.
no, he did.
Also, I think
No, that was
Eric?
that was Arik. Arik is the one that bust into the room and said, "I'm sorry, you're like like you're
No. I mean,
At the end?
no, he didn't call her Your Grace.
Yeah.
Did he? Arik?
did.
Arik."
Arik didn't call her Your Grace. He said something like, "I didn't want to do this," or something like that.
He says, I thought he said, "I apologize, Your Grace. I I didn't have a choice." Or
I don't think-
apologies.
I don't remember him
could be
calling
wrong.
her Your
It's in my
Grace.
head is Your Grace.
But at the end, Eric is like, "Your Grace, forgive me."
Yeah,
And
and
I
I
don't-
Also, if I may, I think in the end, it had to be Eric, because it would be even more powerful, because Eric, he did both the most heroic thing a knight could do, which is protect your ruler,
Mhm.
and simultaneously the worst crime imaginable in the entire kingdom, which is kinslaying. The only thing that's worse than that is king slaying, like Jamie.
Yeah,
he
or
did
or your
both
children. I
the
think
worst and the best thing,
killing your children, I think, is up
and
there too.
and he could not live. The those two things that cancel each other out in a way, and he just could not deal with what he has done. So that's why he says, "Forgive me. I can't do this." He falls on his sword.
Yeah.
So I think it
as someone,
has to be Eric.
I don't know if any of you have seen the movie.
Well, it's
yeah.
also Eric was the one with the slash in his thigh also. So
Mhm.
that's how that was one of the ways to differentiate. So
Yeah.
it was definitely Eric who at the end fell on a sword.
So did you guys notice that one thing when like during Sir Dickhead and Arik's conversation, Arik said we came into the world together.
Mhm.
Who else says that?
Cersei and
Cersei, we came
Jamie.
into this world together.
No, and I was going to say, what I wanted to add is that years ago I had a boyfriend for years who was an identical twin, and he told me, I think I told you this, Rebecca, that the most horrific thing would be to have your twin die before you do, like that. For an identical twin, at least in his perspective, would have been to have his twin go before him. So killing your twin, I can't even imagine what that experience would be like.
I mean, I can also buy like, I would almost like totally like okay with like if Eric had like twinning sense and just like had that explain everything away. It's like okay.
Well,
the twin like psychic.
There is something. There is something there. There is something to that as well. Definitely.
Call them.
They do sense each other apparently.
And it's like
I think
like there's someone there. It's like he's here.
I think it made sense that he sensed him, but that wouldn't have made sense to him that he'd be there. So he's confused about what it is that's happening. And that Massaria still went and told someone. And
I mean, Massaria still
It totally makes sense. And because we know that she's going to be a player in future episodes. So it kind of works to the narrative because otherwise she would have just been sent off, right? And it makes sense that she would become a Black, like Team Black, I think, in future episodes. I do want to ask you. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Tatiana.
Also, I think Rhaenyra is the first person to actually honor an agreement with her. Otto didn't honor his agreement with her. Yeah. David sure as hell didn't honor his agreement with her. She finally found someone who was honorable to her, Little Miss Nobody from nowhere. So I think that at least in some part like goes into her decision to save her life and warn her about the attack.
I think that we've had a lot of things that show Rhaenyra as like we get Alicent, who is pious, but it's like performative piety. And then we have Rhaenyra, who's not pious, but is thanking her servants, is honoring her vows to her house's vows. It wasn't even her own vow to this woman to set her free, but her house's vow. So she honors it. We see Rhaenyra comforting her child when he gets the news of his brother's death, whereas we see Alicent walk out of the room when she walks in on Aegon sobbing into the fireplace. You know what I mean? I feel like they've done a great job of kind of showing how like one of them is being called all of these things but isn't acting that way, and the other is being called these things but isn't acting that way.
Right. And but just like going back to my series, like just showing like setting the seeds of like why Sarah is going to become loyal to Rhaenyra, or what we think is, won't go into book stuff there, but also one thing I'm enjoying, this is not me trying to spoil anything, it's just the book is like accounts from like a maester, a septon, and mushroom, and like
a fool,
like who is like a court jester, a fool, and he like they're just like layers, like you're never sure what story is real, and like the fact that I think they're doing justice to like both sides in a way where it's like
Yeah.
it's giving a lot more nuance, it's giving a lot more context. I mean, like take away like the Alicent thing is so different in the book.
Lottie has a great question. Who wants to answer that?
I can answer it.
Here, you want me to read it first, or can you all see it?
I mean,
Can you all help me? Okay, go ahead, Tatiana.
so
Great question.
I think it's because of Targaryen
sorry.
exceptionalism.
Yeah.
When Aegon the Conqueror came into power, and he and then Maegor and then Aenys, they all have big problems with the religion, with the faith of the Seven, because that was against the rules. That was not done. The incest and bigamy was not done. There was wars fought over it. Maegor especially had a big giant war with them. I think he destroyed the Sept. But then I think with Jaehaerys, they came to an agreement of Targaryen exceptionalism, because the Targaryens, they're so magical and so holy shit that for them being the ruling party, it's okay.
Well, they said they were closer to gods than men.
Mm-hmm.
Like Targaryens don't get sick. They don't get common
And they
illnesses
have dragons.
that common people get. And they have dragons.
And they have dragons. Basically, they do get sick because one of I think Miguel.
No, I know that they do, but they say like Targaryens don't get common illnesses.
Yeah.
And
It's basically Targaryen exceptionalism, why it was okay for them to be incestuous and not okay for certain Jaime to be incestuous. Because they were Lannisters, they were not Targaryens. Even though people say that,
and Cersei mentions that. She says like Targaryens married brother to sister for years. Like, why does it matter if
but it's also like they marry brother and sister for blood purity,
right?
And which is gross.
To keep control of the dragons,
on many levels.
It's for dragons, but it's like there's. I can't believe I hated the Targaryens in the books. Like, I don't hate Daenerys, but I'm like not like a Daenerys person at all. And like there's just something. It's like, why is everyone okay with this? And now I'm like so into this show, and like,
I get it.
And I'm more I'm like on team like the most Targaryen.
I want to bring it back to the battle between Eric and Ark. By the way, a lot of people I think are frustrated by all the names. Like the names are kind of annoying in some ways, and that's all George's fault.
Show because
I hope you don't mind if I'm eating my dinner.
Oh no, go ahead, sweetheart. Go ahead. Sorry, what's that, Becks?
Oh, like in the show.
Yeah, we should.
In the show, it's even more annoying because they're both Eric and Eric. Like we're saying Arik.
Yeah, it's not Arik. I said Arik.
Eric and Eric.
Oh yeah, and of course they're in the same clothes. So
I
you got that too.
One of the things I liked about their fight is that they pulled pieces from all of the accounts. So like everyone had a piece of it partially correct. So we, it's like, okay, the recollections of it, the stories about it are one thing. And now we're in House of the Dragon, we're seeing what actually happened. And then, so we like one of the stories was that they professed their love for each other and died at the same time crying. One of them says like they called each other traitors and just fought and killed each other without crying. Another one said that Eric slew Eric and then took 4 days to die. And so like bits and pieces of each are true.
Yeah.
And so like no one had a completely wrong account, but no one had a completely right account either.
Right. And but
I like that.
Yeah, and I think they took the best parts of each of those stories. Because where it's like, okay, like an hour-long fight.
Right.
No.
Who can fight for an hour? Have you ever been in a fight?
Yeah. And
like
I can't even sit and eat for an hour. Eating for an hour is exhausting.
But it was such like this. I'm not saying romantic, but like it was like this very like romantic.
Right. I still love you.
Yeah, and
so I wanted to ask you guys because one of the things I thought was interesting. There were some comments online about that. What did you think of Rhaenyra's what she did during that scene. I mean, she's very queenly, obviously, but it was kind of reminded me a bit of Dany in The Long Night. Like she's, she has really no skills, which sort of seems strange to me. What did you think about that?
I mean, I think we talked about this. I can't remember if we talked about this or I talked about this in AK stream. Like they just don't train. Like if the women are trained in like any kind of like
embroidery
skills, it's because they seek it out. Like as you'll see, Bela, she's practicing a crossbow. Like Bela's the one.
Oh, look, we have a little visitor.
Oh,
hi.
Is that Ellington?
Hello, sir.
Tanya's son.
Like Bela is, someone you're not going to want to mess with. Arya is someone you don't want to mess with. Brienne, like you see them seek it out. Where we just haven't seen it, and it's like, what else is she gonna do? I thought she was being as smart as she could be. She got her her lady's maid. She got her out, gave her clear instructions. Got her also out of harm's way,
and she was locked in. Like she tried to escape.
Yeah.
She did try to escape, but now her passage out is blocked. So there wasn't really a lot.
As someone who's been at a bar when a bar brawl has broken out, I was kind of like how she was. Like I got under a table, there was glass flying everywhere. I was like, I totally related to that. But yeah, she sent some instructions to get Sir Dantos. I think it was Sir Dantos. Who was her
Laurent.
Laurent. And she sent, by the way, her lady's maid has been the same lady's maid since season 1.
So
I was looking it up.
She's like
Melinda. Someone in the chat tell us what her name is. What's her name, Tatiana? Alinda. Yeah.
Alinda.
She's a gentlewoman, actually. She's, from she's not like a servant. She's a lady in waiting. She's
a lady in waiting.
Yeah, she I think it was like she's a Corbry or something.
Oh, Linda says, yeah. Thank you all. Thanks, Margus. She was against a guy with armor and a big sword.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
we do see in the trailer that she picks up a sword, so maybe someone's gonna. But I know it's so true. Like, again, it's back to Viserys not really preparing his children, but like you say, she would have probably had to seek it out.
Yeah, she would even for like the heiress, like they weren't going to train women, and like even like again the biggest, we hate Aegon, we hate Otto, we hate Crispy, we also
Varys.
Yeah,
by the way, we've lost Alicia. What happened to her?
There are a lot of people that we hate that were kind of like, putting a lot of blame on this. But let's all agree, King Jaehaerys 1 is the reason all this bullshit is happening.
He really shit the bed on this one.
Yeah.
So if it had gone to Rhaenys like it should have.
Yeah. It should have gone to Rhaenys. Like, well, no, there was an actual daughter.
Laenor.
No.
Well, there's Sarah.
Yeah, like their oldest child was a daughter, and it was like immediate, like, or.
Yeah, but she wanted nothing. But she also ran away from Westeros, became a brothel madam, and wanted nothing.
But this was even like. But wait, but that was even when she was.
But he had argued with Alysanne before all of this, before the succession meeting about their daughter inheriting. It was a sticking point with Alysanne.
Yeah, like from when like she was a baby. And didn't like their oldest son. They had so many kids. Like I can't keep.
But they had a lot.
It's impossible to keep like Alicent and Jaehaerys kids.
Okay, a really important question though. What did you guys think about Rhaenyra's pillow. I thought it was very flat and very unfluffy. She tried to beat it a couple of times. I'm like, what the fuck is with her
It
pillow?
looked so uncomfortable. She needed a new one.
Like just like a throw.
She needed a My Pillow buddy.
Like what are
Yeah.
like, you know, like are,
That guy's a Trump supporter, I think.
twins? Like that like pillow that's like, you know, sit up, like you sit in
I'm
it
going,
and
is it filled with straw? Like, what's going on? Yeah, it's like a really stiff pillow.
tiny throw
Yeah.
pillow.
Pillow, but yeah, I was like, she, you know, she's a queen. She should have a feather bed.
She was
I
taking
mean,
a nap on
apple
the
to
couch.
that, why is her bed so small? It's tiny.
I know she's a queen. Give her a fucking queen bed for the love of God.
It looked like a chaise lounge.
Yeah,
I thought that was
almost
just like
wondering
her
that was
napping bed.
her napping bed. Yeah, it's not
I
her
thought it
real
was
bed.
like just like her lounger to take her nap.
Yeah.
Not like where she's actually gonna sleep all night.
S. Edward says medieval pillow filled with straw and old feathers. Yeah, they've been flat. She kept trying to fluff it up, and I was like, yeah. She's like, I'm not sleeping. Also, it looked like it was late, so maybe it was during the day because I think it is actually like her study or something.
It
also
was like at 5 p.m.
They kind of play around a lot with like kind of like lighting things, and this was a thing in like season 1. Like there's a lot of day for night happening.
Yeah.
And so and they do it a lot like at Dragonstone and at Driftmark. And so like I think it's just this like weird day for night thing.
I would have been like, bitch, I'm gonna get my bed back from King's Landing. I'm gonna send a requisition to Allison to say, oh, but then she'd find out that Allison's been having sex in her bed and there's stuff all over it, and she'd be like sending it back to Amazon for return.
No, I would just set it on fire and then return it.
But she could at least get the frame and get a new mattress. Yeah, I was like, that was a very unqueenly bed, and it was shoved into the corner, and I thought the whole thing was just like a little bit weird. And Rhaenyra, she's trying to like fluff it up a little bit.
I mean,
I think
Rhaenyra's
she's more bohemian. She's just like, you know, like
salt of the earth.
she's got a different kind
Was
of
it only 2 weeks ago that she gave birth? Those kids were old.
No,
So there's 3 children?
No, the baby, the stillbirth.
The stillbirth. That's right.
The stillbirth
yes.
that she had. And
that's right.
She literally, and now that I think about it, of course, that's why her clothes are a little ill-fitting.
Yeah.
She's so.
I didn't even think about
Thank
that.
you,
See,
because I forgot about it.
well,
too.
it's really difficult because, like you say, in the first season, we have these major time jumps. And then I guess really season 1 ends, and then we're picking up really just a short time after season 1.
It's like literally like
days
later.
And the fact that she went on Dragonback to look for her son while still recovering from that traumatic miscarriage.
Yeah. I was also going to say, like, so riding, like, I'm wondering what the modern equivalent of riding a dragon would be. Would it be like horseback riding, do you think? Because it's sort of an athletic thing to be doing.
Race car driving?
Race
Like
car driving?
bull riding.
Bull riding.
Yeah.
But like the bull is really, really pissed.
Like the
her waist
physical
is snatched.
thing, but like there's a endurance thing that you have to keep in mind as well.
By the way, we never said snatched in the 80s. That's like a totally modern Millie expression.
Yeah.
I keep going, what are the kids saying now? I can't keep up. I don't know what that means. So sometimes I have to. Robert.
There's so many that
it was so funny.
I just don't know.
There's too many things. Like Robert in Deep Geek, I said, oh, I was watching you on Twitter. He goes, you were? I don't even know how to do that. Like how to comment. I said, yeah, no, I was commenting to you on Twitter. And he said, I don't even know. Like, and then he was asking on Twitter, can people please explain this to me like I'm an old man? How to respond to comments. That's sort of where I'm at. So when you kids are like using your expressions, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means, because I'm the teacher who dresses up like my students.
I literally over the weekend watched Philadelphia.
Oh,
and like Denzel Washington's always like, explain to me like I'm a 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, instead it's like, explain to me like I'm a 60-year-old.
Mm-hmm. That's so funny.
Like when you have to like teach older people how to, and
I'm still using rad. I'm still using rad and bitchin'. hang 10, like
Cowabunga.
cowabunga. Yeah.
Smell you later.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I'm an 80s lady. Anyway, I love you guys though. So what else should we talk about? There's so much to talk about.
I had one thought.
I have to dab my eyes.
And I don't think it'll make any of us like him any better, but do you think we'll see a scene next week or Sunday with Sir Crispy writing in the White Book?
Writing a what?
Writing in
I
the
hadn't
White
thought
Book.
about that.
It just
writing.
occurred to me, like, because that's like the job of the Hand of the King. And it's something
You mean the Lord Commander?
Would he even know that there's a White Book?
Sorry.
Oh,
It's like it's
President is awesome. He protects his
no,
ruler.
writing
He
about
didn't fumble the
No,
bag
no,
when
writing-
the
writing
air was
about-
filled.
writing about Eric and Arik.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah.
like him like entering like their
Arik was
entry.
awesome. Eric sucked.
Yeah,
You know
he
what
did kind
thing
of
that-
promise him that he would have glory, but he didn't kill her, so he's going to probably call him a coward or something, or disparage him in some way.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just curious, like, if it's something we'll see, because at some point,
Kitty
like-
says no thanks.
I'm not saying that it's gonna make him any more sympathetic. I'm just
Yeah.
like, kind of like tying things in. Maybe
What? Okay, no,
No,
come on.
No.
No, totally.
I
No, they're better.
respectfully disagree.
Yeah, me too.
No, they're actually better. I am very sorry, but they're
There
actually
are a
better.
lot of reused costumes from season 2.
Which I like.
Yeah, I think that's good. Actually, that they're repurposing. They've given you that nice like consistency, that through line. So the armors, like Daemon's armor, the Kingsguard, the gold cloaks, even Rhaenys armor, and then even I noticed like the costume that Mysaria wore, which makes sense, is from I think the finale, an episode in season 1. And who else is wearing a repeat? Otto, I can't tell. Like his costumes all kind of look the same to me, to be honest. It's Tatiana.
Yeah.
He might have had a new one last episode, but they all kind of look the same to me. But I'm actually thinking they're an improvement. The designer's different this year. So
I want to talk about the funeral.
yeah, let's talk
The
about that.
public spectacle
Yes.
of
Whew, that
Elena's
was so
grief.
uncomfortable.
That was I wanted. Can we all as a unit just form a council for the protection of Queen Helena? Because that woman needs to be spirited away from the Red Keep and smothered in love and acceptance. You do you, bitch, because damn, it's just so fucked.
It was like
I was scared that the
go
baby's
ahead, sorry,
head was
Tanya.
gonna fall off.
yeah. There were
Everybody-
a bunch of memes about that.
and I-
Tanya, did you see the one meme where someone did with the a casket that fell over and the corpse fell out of it?
No.
But it would have been.
That was what I was
why-
afraid would happen.
Yeah,
Once
I thought the
they
head was
showed
going to
him-
fall off.
Once they actually showed him with the stitches in his neck and
Mhm.
then the wagon got stuck, I thought they were setting us up for his head to fall off. And
Yeah,
I was ready
right.
to like scream.
Yeah, I was.
'Cause that would have been horrific.
Yeah, it would be
Her
very quick.
panic attack. Oh my god!
It felt very Game of Thrones to have it get stuck in the mud like that, and then they couldn't like. And I thought for sure because I don't think he was strapped down or anything.
Mm-mm.
That wasn't. By the way, in the behind the scenes, that was actually a silicone reproduction of Jaharis. They did a scan of him. It was very,
good.
very
It was
realistic
good.
looking.
Very
Mhm.
good.
It was very good. Yeah. I did think that the neck looked a little bit too tidy, given that they just kind of hacked off his head, with a knife.
I attributed that to the Silent Sisters just being that good. That they trimmed away the jagged lines
Yeah.
to make it nice and neat so that they
Yeah,
could restitch
That
it
makes
and
sense.
They
make it
know
look nice.
they
They
do
know
their
how to-
job.
They knew it was going to be open casket and they were like, all right,
Yeah.
we got to even out these lines and put this thing on neatly. One of the things, so two things that are completely unrelated. one, when Kristen Cole was preparing to send Eric to Dragonstone, it was so obvious that every single thing he was saying Eric was like his own internal dialogue about himself.
Mhm.
And he was pissing me off. It was so much projection, and he was pissing me off line after line after line, and I just wanted to jump into the TV and beat him up.
Oh, bro,
I just don't know how
when he was
could,
going
like,
on, all I was thinking was Fiddler on the Roof, just projection, projection.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
he was projecting like crazy, and like it was just like he was such a dick. And then he did all of that projection, and couldn't look at the mattress, the bloody mattress. And it's like after all that, he ended up right back in Allison's bed.
In Allison's
when it's
bed,
like this happened on your watch.
In Allison's bed, while an innocent person got killed. Another one.
I do. It's funny about the whole Pius thing, though, because I was thinking about this today, or maybe yesterday, that they do put, like, it's sort of like, I don't mean to attack my American friends here, but it does sort of feel like in America, you have sex on television, and that is like, oh my God. But you can have violence on television, and that's okay. And so it sort of feels like that with Allison and Kristen. Like the two of them are super violent, like together. The two of them, they're a hurricane. But then she says to her father, I've sinned.
And he's like, I'm good.
I don't want to hear it. And it's like, it's because she's had sex out of wedlock. And I'm like, so like, because if you look at the 10 Commandments, like thou shalt not kill is at the top. Right. And I mean, I realize I'm putting like a Christian, Judeo-Christian sort of thing on Westeros. But I mean, they do have their own sort of.
Yeah, I mean, it was written by a Catholic, so.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, okay. So like the Faith of the Seven does have some similar sort of values, right? Like we were talking about incest. They don't like incest. I mean, there's some practical reasons behind that as well. Even in the British royal family, for instance, like they knew that if you married too close, that you would end up with, problems with the pregnancy, or the child wouldn't develop properly, that kind of thing. So there were some practical reasons, but also just as the golden rule, like, you don't kill people, you don't covet thy neighbor's wife, those types of things, whatever, you're kind to your mother and your father. And so I just think it's sort of funny that she'll follow certain things and be pious regarding that, but then other things she'll be like, okay, go ahead, I'll show you my leg, and you can go and blow up like a brothel, or set it on fire and kill a bunch of people. Yeah. So I just sort of find it really strange that everyone thinks there's such hypocrisy regarding her having sex with Kristen, but meanwhile she's doing all these absolutely heinous things, and Kristen as well.
I think for me, the hypocrisy isn't just that she's doing it; it's that she was so angry at Rhaenyra for doing it. And she judged Rhaenyra so heavily about it. So yeah, to me, it's not hypocrisy because she's totally down with murders. Well, it's that it was the exact same thing with the exact same person that she lambasted Rhaenyra about, and now she's doing it
in her room,
still talking shit about Rhaenyra.
Well,
yeah,
I can't do another like where were the cards discussion because. I did that last week.
Yeah, we did. S. Edwards, we talked about it to very length.
Kept them away from the royal apartment so that he could be a pony to his queen.
I think there was a little bit of plot. I think there was a little bit of a plot, like the writers. We thought that maybe they were going to explain it in a reasonable fashion. So I guess.
About the guards not being there.
Yeah,
they explained it as in like.
It was an oversight.
Kristen didn't do his job, but give the queen a sworn
protector.
Where it's like,
and he had 10 days to do it, and like Arik said, it should have happened upon her ascension.
Yeah.
So and the day that they were coronating Aegon, they should have also been assigning a sworn protector.
So
and had he been a good Lord Commander, Sir Westerling would have known that.
Mm-hmm.
So. They only have 3 King's Guards. There
should be 7.
Well, no. All right. So there were 3 with Rhaenyra,
Mhm.
and then there were 4 with the Greens, but
Westerling left.
left. So
Yeah.
then that made it so 3 and 3.
There should have been replacements, though. I mean,
Yeah,
there should
I
have.
mean, like a King's
Maybe they
Guard-
haven't had time.
Yeah, like that's something that you can't do in that amount of time.
But they only need 3 sworn protectors: 1 for the king,
Well-
1 for the queen, and 1 for the dowager queen.
Yeah, and
And for the children.
And the rest can have like house. Well, the children tend to be with the
Yeah.
Helena.
queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the rest they could have other guards for.
I mean, like even if they had more, they would have put 1 with Helena and 1 with the kids.
Right.
Mhm.
And even like because there weren't enough Kingsguard, that's when
You
you
use the
employ
household guards.
And like I'm sure
the
like the high
Because
tower
there was a household guard. We talked about this. There was a household guard in the throne room. Remember?
Mhm.
well
we saw one.
like, and Sir
When
Arik,
she's walked by.
Eric.
Yeah.
Sir Arik was there too.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
But they also have to sleep.
Arik
right?
was
Like, he
doing his
it-
job.
Yeah, he was talking about that. They haven't had any rest, right? Like they've had no
Right.
rest, and he's just sitting and eating.
And also, like the Lord Commander is bad at his job.
Mhm.
Right.
Like at some point, like I thought we were gonna get like a little bit better of an explanation, but I mean, but that's.
But I like this explanation that Kristen
Yeah.
Cole simply isn't good at his job and should not
Yeah.
have been
Yeah.
raised to Lord Commander.
Well, and also that should also be put on Otto too, because if Otto was like had his shit together, he would have been like, "Hey, Crispy, when you're like not in between my daughter's legs, like, is everything cool? Like, are we?"
Do you
are
think,
we-
by the way,
But I think
about that,
when
do you think he doesn't know that that's happening?
Oh, he absolutely knows.
I think he knows.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tanya, go
I'm
ahead.
still of the opinion. Sorry, like I'm still of the opinion like this just started. Like I feel like
Mhm.
this was like finally like he's fucking dead. I'm gonna fucking get mine. And I it's too long. Like I don't think they're good narrative reasons why it was happening.
Well,
earlier.
and also, I mean,
And that's
honestly, she hasn't been sleeping with Viserys for, I'm sure, years, right?
Years,
Because he
yeah.
basically was in very ill health. I know he did call her at some point.
If it was
when
happening before, they should have shown like
I think it just started.
yeah, I
after
think she
Viserys'
had him
death.
But what I'm saying is they probably
she
had
hasn't
a
had-
non-sexual
And I don't think
marriage.
I don't think she ever had
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for?
An orgasm.
Well, that fits too. That fits too. Satisfying. I was gonna say I don't think she's ever had satisfying sex, but orgasm also fits.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, no.
I mean, because I personally, I was thinking because based on the condition that Viserys was in at the end, it probably had been quite a while since they had
and
relations,
like,
and
but
she
also,
stopped
like,
having children.
He was already in bad shape, like
Yeah.
Right. When they
after
married.
the time jump.
Yeah, because I was even watching in the first episode, I rewatched it, and he started to develop that condition, and they were like, "Oh, we're just gonna maybe
like,
cauterize it or something."
Yeah.
So, and then, but by the way, what was that condition? Did we ever figure it out? Like diabetes or something? We don't even know, right?
Nah, I don't. They never say.
It felt like maybe initially, but like the progression and like the deterioration, like
Mhm.
it has to be something a little bit more.
He had some kind of like flesh-eating bacteria
or like something even a
that
little
boiled
bit more,
wine couldn't help.
like something that like only Targaryens would get. Like it felt like kind of mythical. In a
Yeah,
way.
I think Kitty's is saying, yeah, he got cut. There's a couple of kings, like, and then this is sort of always symbolic of a king who's not suitable for the throne, right? Because he gets cut by the throne. There's been a couple of kings who've been cut.
Mhm.
And then he ends up with these wounds that won't heal kind of thing, which I always thought was like a diabetes thing, but perhaps, gangrene. Yeah.
Yeah, but it like something felt like mythical about it.
I think so, because
But
there's no way in that time period you would have been able to survive with your face
with half
Just
of
like
it.
a whole.
half of a face, like with like you say, Tanya, kind of like a flesh-eating disease or what have you. So it must have been sort of like a mythical disease.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say about Otto was that he's the hand, and you're supposed to be able to delegate things, and you now have a new Lord Commander. You shouldn't have to tell the Lord Commander, hey, make sure Helena has a sworn sword. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree. Like, but also at the same time, like, these are very unprecedented.
Hi, Chris.
It's an unprecedented time. Like, they just usurped the throne. Like, that there should be a lot of meetings about like what is being done. Like, this is like wartime. Like they're in like war council, and like, no, they all fucked up. And like, and I do think I do think that weighs a little bit with Otto as well. Like,
I wonder, well, not I wonder, I'm realizing that Kristen Cole wasn't a part. He wasn't the Lord Commander or Kristen Cole. Neither of them were ever a part of these plans to crown Aegon, because remember, they had plans anyway. And the Lord Commander is surprised by it, and Kristen Cole, I think, would have told Alicent. So like these secret meetings they had, they didn't. I don't think they took into account the Kingsguard at all.
No, because the Kingsguard are just gonna like be there for, like.
Guys, can I just read this comment from Lorelai? She says, went to look at the presidential debate, and oh my fucking God, I had to stop watching so fast. Glad you're streaming tonight. Yay!
Yay! We will be your safe place.
Oh my, we'll be your safe space. I'm going to watch it on the replay later. I'm sure it's just, I'm sure it's like a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet it is.
Hey, I want to ask you guys something. Okay, that scene, which was very Shakespearean, the scene with Otto and Sir Kristen Cole.
Self-indulgent.
Oh, well, first off, the scene where he throws the hand of the king pin down. Do you remember who else did that?
Was it Tyrion?
Tyrion did that. Yes, he threw the hand of the king pin down.
Oh. Another
Go ahead.
Fun thing. Claire Kilner. She also directed the episode when Viserys fired Otto.
Oh, okay, interesting. Like, the firing episodes.
Like he must have gone in. And it's like, oh, you're back. Am I getting fired again? Like, but
I bet did Matt, unrelated
did Matt throw down the pin as well?
I don't think he threw it down.
What did he do with it?
Did he throw it down?
It's a huge
I thought he
insult.
like put it on the table. But
It's
maybe I'm misremembering.
He definitely threw it at Daenerys.
Yeah,
I know Barris told me threw down his cloak.
Yeah, it's a pretty huge insult. Yeah, sorry. Who is that, Tatiana?
No, that was me. I was saying
Barris and Selmy. Yes, he threw off because you're not supposed to. You're supposed to be a Kingsguard till your death, right?
Yeah.
That it's like to be dismissed is a huge insult.
Yeah.
I was going to say there's two things that I want you guys to talk about, and I want to say it before I forget because they're unrelated. So the two things are, one, I hate that they are mentioning Daron for the first time. That
hate it.
Absolutely pissed me off. The other thing was, I think that Otto has serious regret now about not just going ahead and crowning Rhaenyra, because I think that he believed by crowning Aegon, he would be ruling the kingdom. Because Aegon is just like this little idiot, and he could probably just control him and tell him what to do. And so I thought I got the feeling that he is just filled with regret right now.
Well, my answer to that is because I still think like Otto is still squarely like Team Green.
Yes, and like I don't think he'll change his mind.
Yeah, like, but I don't think it's so much that he regrets his decision about Rhaenyra. Like, I don't think he cares about that. I think he's just like, I fucked this up with Aegon, period.
Yeah.
And like, it just like failing across the board, or even it's just like Aegon is so dumb and incompetent. Like, I think his regrets are just solely with.
I mean, I bet he wishes that Aemond. I bet he wishes Aemond had been born first.
But I like he sees Aemond as Daemon, and like the whole thing was because he didn't want Daemon to be king. Like this whole thing's like he convinced I mean, in show canon, he
Yeah.
basically convinced Viserys that Daemon would not be good to be like the heir, and convinced Viserys to name Rhaenyra the heir, mostly to keep Daemon off the throne.
Yeah, I don't think it was that he had any feelings about Rhaenyra.
Yeah, and like,
but I
just think his regrets are solely because like this.
yeah, I mean, I
Rhaenyra.
think that he probably went into it thinking that he would be the one running the kingdom truly, because Aegon is like this feckless fool and would probably just be out whoring and hunting
So
while Otto ran the kingdom.
yeah, like natural selection. Yeah, like Otto didn't ever have any intent for any of these kids to like actually rule. Like he was going to put them in as puppets, and you
Right.
can't do that with Aemond.
No.
Like, you can't do it. So
By the way, why
Aemond-
didn't Otto marry his son off to, let's say, Helena or something like that? Because
he would be too old.
he'd be too old. Who is?
He
Who
was old.
is?
He was. I believe he was older than Alicent.
Oh, okay. So, he is.
yeah.
Okay, so who is he married to? Because I mean, he hasn't come in. I mean, we saw him in the tourney, but he hasn't come into the show yet. I'm just wondering in the book,
Let's see.
like who he's married to.
I do not know.
There's
I'm looking
It
it
might-
up.
Yeah. And then who? And then we were talking about briefly about Darren. Like, what did you think about the idea that? I mean, I guess you guys can probably explain it better because you're book people, but Darren's been in Old Town.
He's been in Old Town, and like I don't mind. I don't know. Like I think they just kind of like got into a writing hole and thought like we can get away without having him. Like
I think
should have been mentioned in season 1.
I think they did not intend to have Daron. And when they made season 1, they did not intend to include Daron. They didn't intend to include Daron's storyline. But as they were making season 2, they were like, "Fuck, that storyline is actually kind of cool."
Why wouldn't they bring him in for
Right.
like Viserys's funeral?
Yeah, it's
Right.
sort of weird.
And why we never saw her with 4 children,
And she's
so
never
even if he'd
mentioned
been
him at all.
never mentioned him. They never show her with like the 3 children and a baby, or
It
the
feel-
3
it feels a
children
bit-
and pregnant. Like none
Yeah,
of that.
it feels a bit like retconning, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, although like to be fair, like like he does
Thanks,
have
imagination.
like enough. He does have a role in in the books. Like it's not. I mean, he is absent during like he is in like Old Town, but he does come into play. I did last week. I promised to get all the ages.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Tatiana, are you getting tired, honey? Tatiana, you okay? You're not getting too tired?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay. Okay, I was just something.
I'm
Okay.
kind of multitasking. I'm doing this
Oh.
and designing at the same time. So,
Oh no, that's awesome. You can show us after.
yeah.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is book canon, which does not mean it's show canon. Like we already know, like the ages of the JJ twins, Jaehaerys and Jahara, or
Hi, Michelle.
that they're not. But anyway, so right now we're in 129
Mhm.
after Conquest, 129 AC. So Aegon was born in 107, so he's 22. Helena was born in 109, so she's 20. And like, but that also means like she had the twins. She had the twins when she was like 19.
But you said she's 20?
Yeah, she's 20.
So
Aren't the kids like 6 years old?
the kids are like 6, so they've had to age her up then, I bet. Like she could have had them at 16 or 15.
No,
or
she
something.
had the kids when she was I mean
14?
had the kids when she was 14.
Yeah, well, in that world, that makes sense,
Well,
right?
but no, and this is also another thing about like when you read fantasy books, like even in royal families, unless like things were desperate, like they were not having kids that young. Like the idea, like like, oh, back in the olden days, like of course they're having babies at 15. Like, no, that was not common. They knew it was dangerous. It was still like, you know, like women didn't really start having kids until like their like early 20s. Even like back in like medieval times. So
well, I mean, and I think the maesters knew too that, right? They knew that they were more stillbirths and so on if they had children.
And this is also like a fantasy book. So
okay, that's true.
That's like a weird little like
okay
tangent.
Gwen doesn't have a listed wife, by the way.
Oh, he doesn't. Okay.
So so Daron like would be 15 right now, and Aemon would be 19. Where Jace was born the same year as Daron, so Jace is only 15. In the books, they've aged him up a little bit. Wait, no, I wrote that down wrong because I have Luke at 1. Yeah, and Luke was at 115, so he would have been 14.
Yeah, that sort of works. I think that's about right for the show. I'd say he was about 14.
Yeah, they said he was 14 in the show.
Bela and Rhaenyra are actually younger in the books.
Oh, okay.
So because I would put them like I think they put Jace a little older in the show. And I think they made at least Bela the same age. And then Joffrey's already 12. And then like in the funeral scene, he was still like, you know, being held in
like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, like he was being held like a 5-year-old. And then Aegon the younger is 9 and Viserys is 7. So like even those kids are like super young. But like Harry like said in the show that like Ryan Condal kind of said like this is 30 years condensed into like 20 years, but then like if I start trying to do the math with that, and it's like, well, this makes even less sense, but you know, whatever. But that was my little homework assignment.
Thank you so much for doing that, Becks. That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, but I think in terms of the kids' ages, they feel pretty close. Like I think Jacaerys or Jace and Bela, I feel that they do maybe 16, 18.
I feel like they're the same age.
I don't know how old they are in real life, but I'd say maybe 16.
Well,
because they're not married yet, right? So
Jace is 15 and Bela is 13.
Okay, yeah, they feel the same age in the show though.
Right. I love their scene together.
It was really cute.
It was very sweet. It was very warm, and it's like
it was nice. I really liked that it was an exterior too, because we haven't had too many exterior scenes. And I noticed in some of the pictures from the next episode, it looks like we're going to have some exterior scenes. Like I know we had the King's Landing scene, but it just felt like we've been in a lot of dark lot of dark quarters, you know, and so it's nice to have an outside scene. Of course, I don't know where they're shooting. It's so beautiful there, though. Is it Ireland? Where is it?
Dragonstone was in Spain, I thought.
Oh, okay. I think you're right.
Yeah. And I also know they're doing King's Landing in Spain, too.
Well, it used to be, wasn't it in like Croatia or something at one point?
I think it was Croatia.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Game of Thrones, it was Croatia.
In Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but I think they're doing Spain.
And I know like they built like a lot of sets, like as they were showing, for instance, Dragonstone, which originally we only saw the what's the map called, the painted table. The painted table, we only had that room, and then so Ryan
I loved the Dragon Airport.
Oh yes, so cool. Oh, S says you thought that she was accidentally going to shoot Jace with that crossbow. Dude, Jace needs to learn not to get downrange like that.
Yeah. He must have really trusted her skill.
I wonder if she's going to be able to shoot the arrows off of the dragon while she's flying.
I would love to see that.
Oh, I mean,
she'd be like,
you just know
Everdeen on a dragon.
She is going to be the most badass in this entire show.
Mhm.
Like she's our Arya.
Yeah, for sure.
She's totally our Arya.
Yeah. And I mean, she is her father's daughter. So hey, like while we're talking about speaking of her, and you know, she passes the corridor. Dad, what's up? Are you okay? What did y'all think of the scene between Rhaenyra and Daemon? And are we, now that Daemon's leaving, is this going to cause a bit of a problem for Team Black, like not having him there? Or do you think he'll go off and kind of still support them in his own way?
Well, I mean, are we talking about anything that we know from like the next episode?
I haven't watched previews for the next episode or
Oh,
anything.
all right.
So.
Well, you know, like he basically said in the show, like I'm going
to
Harrenhal to raise an army for you.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a very safe assumption, like, you know,
that he went
he's
to
still
Harrenhal.
on course. I don't think the fight that they had, like, I don't know if he has loyalty towards her, but he's just like, I ain't gonna lose to these stupid motherfuckers.
I also think that for Daemon, a slight against Rhaenyra isn't about Rhaenyra's honor, but about it being a slight against Daemon's wife. Therefore, a slight against Daemon.
You know, I don't even think like Daemon is, you know, like there are moments where it's like they have like this like very like they definitely have like this like warm connection at times. Not thin, but
yeah,
you know, like they have a connection. Like when last episode when she returned and like they saw each other and like they like even though
they put their heads together,
yeah, and like there's something there, but I think Daemon is just only out for Daemon, and I don't even think like he killed his first wife. You know, I think he had remorse with how Lena died, but you know, I don't think he cares about anybody, like not even in the fact that like what their relation to him is, because I think the only other person he ever cared about was Viserys, and only because he cared about what Viserys thought of him. Sorry, my rant.
Well, do you think that maybe I don't know? I get kind of a bit of a sociopath feeling from him. He's not really. He doesn't have like you say, like it seemed like he loved Lena or his daughters. They cut that one.
He said they were
out.
happy.
Yeah,
you know, when she asked if he loved her,
said happy enough.
Well, happy enough.
Happy enough. Like, I think they respected each other. I think it was like they weren't in the midst of like a civil war. So like, you know, like their life wasn't as like chaotic and in turmoil and like, you know, being put to the test. But then when she put him to the test, he was like, I don't know. And then she, you know, died during childbirth by dragon. Like,
yeah, it's awful.
You know, like, and I could give him some grace that he's probably traumatized by it. But I mean, I don't know. Like he's such his own weird thing, and like putting sociopath on him is like too it's like not nuanced enough.
Sure.
For like whatever his fucking thing is.
I just meaning like in terms of his feeling. But he didn't seem.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but he did have that. I mean, he did, you know, like some people were angry that he threw the cup and stuff like that. But I mean, that seemed pretty honest to me. Yeah, that seemed like a fairly honest reaction from him.
And they're dragons.
Like, yeah, they are. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go from the lore of the show, which like I kind of, again, I cannot believe I'm like, oh, he's a dragon. It's fine. You know, like, considering how much I don't like Targaryens in general, but you know, like he's a dragon, he's out of control, and like all like they're constantly talking about like dragons being weapons and being hard to control, and you see when they're not, and then Daemon's a dragon, Rhaenyra's a dragon, Aemon's gonna be a dragon, like
okay, yeah. I do personally feel, and I know we talked about this a little bit last stream, that there is a bit of a disconnect between teenage Rhaenyra and adult Rhaenyra. And I know, like, you know, teenagers can be assholes and they can change. But I do feel like the kindness that Rhaenyra, adult Rhaenyra, is showing to like the staff and her children and all that, and the kindness and her family, but yet like she was kind of a bit of a dick when she was a teenager. So I kind of wish that they did show a little bit more of that with teen Rhaenyra. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I mean, again, it goes to I think we spent too much time with like before that time jump. Like I can't give you a good way how to do it. You know, it's not to say like we didn't get great episodes, but
Oh, hey, Santavia. Hi.
You know,
I haven't seen you in
hi.
ages. Hi, Santavia.
But
Yay.
yeah, I just think, you know, like I can also appreciate she was a little defiant. Like, you know, she was like a rebellious teenager. Like, I don't think we ever saw her being rude to like, you know, her ladies' maids or servants or anything like that. Like, maybe just more like she would like her teenage attitude was directed at like the people she knew. You know, like I don't think she was like rude to other people, but then she also was a kid who, you know, could like walk into a room and like no one could tell her what to do. Like, you know, she just matured. So
well, it was funny because years ago, we had this family friend and I hadn't seen her in years. And she, you know, she said to me, "Oh, Heidi, when you were little, you were a brat." I'm like, "I was?" "Oh yeah, you're a little monster." So I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, hopefully I've outgrown that." So, you know, everyone has that. It just, that's what I keep seeing when like, I'm like, all of the kind things that she's doing. I sort of feel like I wish there was a little bit of that. Obviously we had that. There was that love between her and Allison at the beginning. And I know a lot of people wanted it to be like a romantic feeling. I never really got that. That might have been a wishful thinking. Like even people are talking about online, her clothing, Allison's clothing is kind of veering into maybe into the palette of Rhaenyra. And I don't know. Did you guys ever feel that sort of romantic connection between the two of them?
I think it's more of a need. They need each other.
Sure.
In what way? Ambiguous. She might have convinced herself it was romantic because, you know, grooming. But I think it's more of a deep, visceral necessity for them to be together because they are so alike. I
mean, they also didn't have anyone else.
And also Damon is the one that showed her a whole new world when he took her out on the town.
Yeah. It was kind of like a whole new world, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
like Aladdin.
At least in her, again, she was groomed. So in her mind, he's the only one who saw her. He's the only one who truly saw her for who she was and didn't expect her to be anyone but herself. And now, it is only now after Blood and Cheese that she's realizing, oh, fuck, what did I just, who did I marry? Who the fuck did I marry?
I guess this is like my one complaint against Rhaenyra though, like, cause how did she not know? Like, you know, and she said, like, when I was younger, you were challenged. But it's also like, but you also didn't marry him when you were younger. You married him a few years ago only because you wanted him by your side. You wanted him to help you keep your claim and get you on the throne. But then, I don't know, there's a little bit like Rhaenyra, like, at times is acting like, I'm disappointed, like, where she's like, why did they think it was me that murdered this child after my child was like murdered like a week ago? You know, like, how could that be? But and then, you know, it's like not knowing that, like, letting Damon off a leash is like, you should know better at this point. Like, you're not a kid anymore. You're a little bit better well trained, and I don't know. Like, I think the scene was great, but there's a little bit like Rhaenyra, like you should
The
know
signs were there.
Yeah.
By the way,
I don't have my glasses on.
all the looks around the table were so funny. Again, I don't know if you guys saw
Oh.
the memes, like between Rainey's and
Mhm.
Rainey's like new,
And,
then-
Rhaenys knew
and
immediately.
Allison going, she does this thing, Rhaenyra does this thing where she's looking and then she's kind of like, oh, and then she
Yeah.
realizes
Emma Darcy.
she's back. Emma Darcy.
Stop it, Kay.
Emma Darcy, they do the best, like, subtle, like,
Like, oh shit.
She
Yeah.
did. She just
Like,
said,
I
she
love
just slightly
Damon's
moved her
face
head.
the whole time. How he's just kind of like
and she
Smirking.
and
She
did.
also did it with Mysaria when she realized, like, oh, you're Damon's old girl.
David was just like totally chill. Like he was like he just smoked a bong or
Oh
something.
my god. That-
He
He
was,
was
just
like,
so
"What?
satisfied and
What?
pleased
What
with
did I?
himself.
What's going on here? Did I miss something?
You know what I feel like Damon is? Damon is that cat that sees that their owner is upset, and instead of coming over and cuddling with them, he brings them a dead mouse
Yeah.
and then says, "Are you happy now, Mama?"
you know what? They bring you dead mice because they think you're stupid and don't know how to hunt.
Right, they want to teach you how to hunt. I think Damon is
Exactly.
more
Mhm.
like
That is
the cat whose
Damon.
litter box didn't get changed, and so they go and shit in your bed and then stare at you.
Yeah.
No, they sit in your bed while they stare at you.
Oh,
Well,
That
I mean,
was my dog.
you know, they say like people show themselves for what they are, and then so she said just 4 words like I want Aemond what did she say? I want
want
Aemond.
One
Targaryen.
Aemon Targaryen.
Amen.
Yeah, I want
Targaryen.
and then but she didn't give like specific instructions. And I remember years ago I worked with this woman and I would say, my boyfriend at the time, I would say, why doesn't he do this? Like, why doesn't he fill the dishwasher? She's like, well, why would he? I'm like, I don't know. Like the dishes are everywhere. You would think he would fill it. No, he won't. What makes you think he would do that? And I realized she was sort of trying to show to me that men and women think differently. So even though she would say something like, I want Aemon Targaryen. He's like, okay, well, that means I need to go, hatch a plan. And meanwhile, she probably had something different in her mind of what
well,
had to
I mean,
happen,
I'm
but they
sure
didn't communicate with each other about
I'm
it.
sure she had every intention. Like she wanted him to go kill Aemon Targaryen.
Mhm.
Period. But but she just like let him go up where she like no one had a chance like
Thanks,
to sit down
imagination.
and be like, okay, let's plan this a little bit.
Yeah.
Instead of you just like hiring like a disgraced gold cloak and a rat catcher.
Yeah.
Like
But she also like just recently found her son's cloak and his dragon's wing. Like she wasn't thinking clearly at all,
Of course.
right, but I
Mhm.
don't think this is like I don't think this is a weird one-off. Like I think
Damon, make it happen.
Damon make it happen because that's why she married him. I mean,
Alicia, are you there? Do you want to do you
Yes.
want to say something? About
this.
Oh, we're talking about
Daemon
the
and
fight that
Rhaenyra's fight.
Rhaenyra and Damon
When
have
she's
that
in our
fight.
council meeting.
Yes.
after the
Yeah.
council. Yeah.
I appreciate that Auntie Nisi clocked him almost immediately. And like Tanya said, I also appreciate the look that was on his face because you're grimy for that, Damon. But low key, I can see why you went there. I understand. The fight though, I think Rhaenyra kind of read him for filth, and he knew that, and it hurt his heart a lot. Like you don't switch to that type of anger unless something has absolutely rung true and punched you right in your soul. So yeah, and I know a lot of folks have said that she should have been
Chris.
more specific, but how much more specific do you need to be? I said Aemon Targaryen.
Yeah, no,
I didn't say any other little boy in the room.
It's not being specific. It's also just like not letting just like Damon off the leash.
Yeah.
It's more like kind of like, all right, let's make a plan. It's, there's a little bit like, and where she was like yelling at him, like, we can't trust you. And it's like, you know, in case
He's like, I'm me. Like, what did you think?
Like, yeah, and there's a little bit like, I mean, she's right to be mad at him, but there's also a little bit like, as queen, she ultimately has to take responsibility for it, because
That's the sad part about it.
yeah,
It
Yeah.
should be
Yeah.
Damon's bill to pay, but the war is centered
Well,
around
it's
her.
ultimately it's her
Yeah.
responsibility.
I think it's
Agreed.
interesting because like my dad used to tell me, like he would be talking to my stepmother and she would come home from work and she would bitch and complain about something, but really what she was just doing was venting. And then my dad would be like, well, this is what you should do. And so, I mean, you know, it's possible that she was just like venting, like she just got back and she was just like, I want him. And then, but then maybe if she thought about it, she didn't mean, okay, go and assassinate him or attempt to assassinate him or whoever else happened to be there. It's
Well,
just,
maybe this is the next thing on the agenda.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just feel like, you know, they're having, I always say this about like romantic comedies. It could have been solved with a conversation.
Oh.
Like if they had
Yeah.
just had a conversation,
I
the two
mean,
of them.
everything in this show can be solved with the conversation.
For sure, yeah.
But then we
Oh,
wouldn't be
Damon.
here, right?
Yeah,
No, of
then we
course.
wouldn't be
We wouldn't
here.
have the show. I mean, like as Damon said, if Rhaenys had taken Aegon and, you know, out everyone out, we wouldn't even be here. It would just have been done.
Yeah,
This
but how
could have
many
been in
other
an
problems
email.
would spring up?
Oh my God,
Allison
Kitty's,
had
you're so
gotten
funny.
good dick in the very beginning, none of this would have happened.
You know what? That part. I
What?
agree. I will co-sign that. If she had been able to choose what dick she had to sit on, we wouldn't be here either.
Yeah.
Because now it's Raggedy Crispy and her being the league of Rhaenyra's evil exes tag teaming.
By
on some
the
bullshit.
way-
y'all are holding grudges for 10 years now.
The
Yeah.
Come
amount of
on.
rent
More than that.
It's pretty
Like
sad.
16 years. I think it's been like 16 years.
It's and by the way, have you noticed that Kristen hasn't aged at all, except for maybe his hair's gotten weird?
Yeah, they
he's
cut his
very,
hair. That's
he's
it.
very
Yeah.
diligent about sunscreen.
Maybe
You know
he has
what?
good
You know
skin, a
what?
skincare
Crispy
routine.
Scream's
He does.
Bitterness zapped Viserys's life force to keep him young. That is canon. That's what happened.
I like
By
the
the way,
witchiness of
I
that,
don't
so I
think-
approve.
Can you guys confirm this? I don't think that them sleeping together is in the books. Is that correct? I don't recall that it is.
Yeah,
No, I don't remember that ever
I
being
don't
with it.
believe it is.
no,
Yeah.
there-
But I will also
Why would the
say
Maester
I'm
say
glad
that?
I called that. A
You
lot of people
did.
told me I was wrong and it's to go sit in the corner because they didn't think that they would be clapping cheeks. But
Well, they're fucking
yeah,
stupid.
to all y'all, I told you.
It didn't even
I-
occur to me that would happen, honestly.
And
I
why
fell
I'm
for
mentioning-
Allison's bullshit, basically.
Yeah. Why I'm mentioning it is because husband
10
said
points from Ravenclaw.
when we're watching it, hey, like Allison's still pretty young. She could still get pregnant. And I said, well, I think maybe they would use the moon tea, but wouldn't that
Oh
be
yeah,
interesting?
Nikki and I talked about that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure she has nightly moon tea.
Yeah.
I'm sure she does too, but I do think the possibility is there that
That would be
Daeron has
interesting
been
though,
hidden
right?
away
Wouldn't that be
specifically
cool?
because he looks more like Cole.
Mm-hmm.
That would be hilarious.
Well,
That
there
would
was
actually-
some talk about
my
that.
fingers are crossed that is what
That would
that's
be
why he
so
was in
funny.
Old Town.
Wasn't there
I
some
kept
discussion?
saying-
time for it.
Oh, sorry.
kept-
Okay, sorry. You guys go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Tanya.
No, for last season, I kept saying that it would have been really funny if they had made House Strong black instead of the Valerians, so that Rhaenyra would have a white husband, but like 3 very clearly black children,
Mhm.
and still look in their faces and be like, no, they're totally his. Like I would have loved that. Like just
Well, there was some discussion about her
The drama of
about
it all.
Jacaerys, I think, maybe being Cole's son, wasn't there? Like the first one being
No,
no.
He's
not
being
not
too
Viserys.
young.
Yeah, Jace. Yeah, it was
Jace,
also rumored
yeah.
that
I
Jace.
think it would have been too
he could
young.
have been Jace's father.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no. That like Jace was born in.
but then
11
yeah.
Yeah,
The time,
Jace is
too
way
much time.
young. Yeah, Jace
Right,
is way
right.
too young to be Cole's kid.
Oh, wouldn't it be interesting if Alicent's ordered to get married, but her father's left though? So remember how like Cersei
She can
was told,
still be ordered. Even
Her
her son is on the throne.
that's true. He could order her to be married,
Mhm.
I mean,
and she'll be
there's
like a
no
Cersei
love
and be
for
like,
those
"I
two.
refuse."
She
Oh,
would
not
try to
some
do
rude
that, but
man.
Also, how much of a bitch move was it for Alicent to look at her son grieving, depressed, openly crying, and she's like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit.
Hashtag Alice.
Yeah, I
that was
mentioned
so
that.
weird. That
No,
Yeah, I
was like,
mentioned it earlier in comparison to when Jace returns
Yeah.
and is like weeping in Rhaenyra's arms.
Exactly.
that
Like,
scene with
she knew
Allison
that
was
she
like
had to
Homer
comfort her son.
Simpson going into the bushes, going backwards into
Mhm.
the bushes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then
Allison
to go
does
sleep
not
with the
like
Lord
any of
Commander.
those kids.
Oh my
Right.
God.
Your son is grieving. First of all, there's that. And second of all, the whole thing with Helena, can somebody please go over to Flea Bottom and pick up that puppy and go give him to Helena, because
Give him
she
to
needs some support
Oh,
right
that
now.
puppy, I
And
hope he
she's
does
not
come
getting
back.
it.
That's another thing. Like, that is a time that Allison should have been with Helena.
Mhm.
Exactly. But she was
like,
too
but
busy
here
trying to
you
say
are
that I didn't sleep with
on
him.
Yeah, here you are once
I
again
did
up underneath
not
Kristen
sleep
Cole.
with that man.
Yeah, like Allison, like I mean, like I think it's a lot for us to expect her to be like all of a sudden be a good mother now when she hasn't been a good mother for 20 some years.
Right. No, I'm not saying like she
Oh,
should
yeah,
have changed now. I'm just saying like
Yeah.
this whole time, like she's just been kind of a shit mom. And
Yeah,
like
I mean,
here,
like-
here are further examples that
I
like you
feel like
shit the
there-
bed with raising
Exactly.
your
I
kids.
do feel like there's like she does have. I mean, like protective's not like especially after this episode, because like I was even arguing like she's a little protective over Helena. Like I think she realizes
Is she though?
she was like
I
during
mean,
during Aegon's
funeral?
coronation and like the
Oh yeah,
dragon,
yeah, that's
she
true.
was very like there were little things last season was just kind of like, but it's like, oh
We
no,
see her trying to connect with her too.
like, and she just can't. But and I do think like, Olivia Cook, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Oh.
Olivia Cook.
I mean, like, God, she's so good.
I love her.
Like, I love her.
Oh yeah, she's doing a bang up job.
Like even when like that first scene with her and Otto, where she's like, the boy is dead. He has no more pain, but then she like
But my girl.
jokes, but what they did, my girl. And
Mhm.
like, and she just doesn't know. She's so, she doesn't know because she resented those kids for so long, resented her position in life. And, now it's like, oh, they really fucking need you. Not just like for you, like positioning them in power, making sure like that whole thing, like, oh, Rhaenyra's going to kill them. Like, whatever. Like, and now it's like, oh, fuck, like I actually really need to be a parent to them.
I blame Otto for a lot of that too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because he's been drilling this into her head for so long.
She's
When-
passing on her trauma.
When do we know how old she was when her mom died?
No.
No.
I mean,
I imagine young.
she was around 15, well, 14, 15
Yeah,
when the show started.
right.
Mhm.
And
she
Damon
felt
only
like she
says
was-
your wife
was
died some years
fairly
ago, but they never
recent.
say
I mean,
how many.
It says probably somewhat recent, so I'm guessing she might be between 10 and 12, maybe.
Okay. I mean,
When her mother died.
well, and then also like, as soon as as soon as she was in court, and especially as soon as like, oh, the king can marry somebody, and it was like,
Mhm.
close enough in age. And again, in real life, like those would be like kind of, yeah. Although this probably actually in real life would have been a situation where it's like, yeah, we're trying to get a male heir. Like, we'll go ahead and have sex with like the 15-year-old. Oh, so gross. But I mean, yeah, she was fucked from the beginning. But she also never.
Yeah, she had no agency at all.
But
Mhm.
but
And she had
then
no mother. She had no mother there either. Like we were talking about how she's not a good mother, but she didn't have a mother there
Yeah,
to teach her how to be a good mother.
Yeah, and also
And Rhaenyra didn't have a mother there for her either. So neither of them had. Both of them were motherless.
And yet,
yeah, but I also think like their relationships with their dads,
Mhm.
oh, absolutely.
like very much like, because I mean, even though like things were weird with Viserys and like Viserys made a lot of mistakes, like I think there was like this there was this wonderful, warm, loving relationship between Rhaenyra and Viserys.
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm getting like tongue tied with all the
Well, the names are like just
But-
really difficult
but then
sometimes.
also like and it also didn't help like in the marriage, like she was a bad mom, he was a terrible father to like those kids, like
Mhm.
The worst.
yeah, I mean like it's like there's something like I feel sympathy and context for Allison. It's like, but she also just never rose above it, and she wants to drag everyone into the hell that she's in.
That's the crux of it right there. She sees all these problems too, but she has done absolutely nothing to try to combat that and be better. Your daughter is grieving because she had to watch her son be murdered, and the first thing you want to do is make it about you. And let's talk about what you saw when you came in the room. You really think she has time to worry about that? She don't care. Well, that's not it. When they're planning the funeral and Otto is saying, well, let's have everybody, in this order for the procession. And she says, oh, I will not be made a spectacle of, but you're okay serving Helena up to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't see that line as her being okay. Like, I think it was just more of a turn of phrase. Like, I don't think she wanted Helena to be up there too. And I don't think she was okay with it, but it was already like, once he was like, no, you're doing it, it's like, how much more could she argue?
Oh, we're all being so quiet. What's happening?
Oh my god!
I thought you were about to jump back in.
It's funny when we're sitting at dinner. Sometimes everyone will just be eating and be super quiet, and they'll say, "Hey, everyone's being so quiet." And then my son will say, "Mom, you always say that," because I was like, "Well, no one's talking." Well, what else haven't we talked about? Have we? Let me think.
Aemond at the brothel.
Oh yes, do you want to talk? We talked a little about
mommy
it.
fetish.
Yes,
Mom
totally.
has a fetish.
I
by
was
the
like
way,
comparing him to
I
Homelander.
Did you notice the
Oh
steamed
yes,
milk?
Homelander for sure. Mother's
Yeah.
milk.
That was
At first, I was like,
a
"Is
good
that like milk
comparison.
of the poppy, or is that milk?"
Yeah.
milk?
Yeah.
I mean, it could go either way, but the one thing I guess on the traumatic side of it all for him is it reminded me a lot of the Unsullied. Like they went to whorehouses too, but they weren't paying
be
for sex. They were
held.
paying just to be held
Yeah.
because they never had affection like that and they needed that. And again, Allison don't like none of her kids, so she's never really given them that either.
Yeah, I was like, this whole time we're in the castle and everyone's raging and planning and all of this, like, Aemond was the target, and he knows he was the target, but like, no one's like, "Hey, where's Aemond?"
Yeah. By the way,
You know what I mean?
there was a scene at the beginning where he walks in and he's in his room and
He sees that
what
open
was-
passageway.
yeah, he was just sort of
When
trying
he's
to figure out, I guess, how
investigating.
he's investigating. So someone must have told him
I think
that
the
he was the
passageway
I
was
don't
still
think-
open.
it was
Yeah,
still
the
open.
The passageway was still open, and also he
The
looked at
coins
the
were
table.
missing.
Yeah, there were coins
Yes,
missing.
the coins
And everything and things were rearranged and knocked
Now-
down, and he knows he didn't do that.
And I like my one question was because it seemed like he came into that room so calm. Like,
Mhm.
did he like surpass like all the craziness? Like, or am I reading too much into it? Because like he comes into that room like, like, oh, take off my cloak, like.
But then his spidey senses started tingling.
Something's wrong. Like it didn't seem like he was totally clued into like what was going on in the castle. Like he seemed very
No, at that point, I don't think he was.
but
But he did notice that something within that room. He did notice that things
just
were
only
off.
like timeline wise, because like we start with like the chaos with like all like the servants and the cooks and whatnot in the castle, and then
Well, where was he?
That's what I'm saying. Like this
He was
castle was
with
no,
one
but
of the
that's what I was
brothels.
saying.
Yeah,
All
he
these
was
things
at-
are
he was at
happening,
the
and no one
brothel.
wondered where he was or if he was dead or
So
alive.
when Blood and Cheese came through, he was at the brothel.
He was at the brothel.
Yes.
Yeah, and he said
Okay.
so, like when he was with
Okay.
Madam Sylvie.
Yeah.
Yeah. like
And there
he said I was
Go
here.
ahead,
Like,
Tanya.
she said you were here.
And and he goes to the brothel to get emotional
Titties.
support and affection.
I mean, no, he gets affection. I'll give you that, but
Yeah.
he is
He
also
goes
there
there
for
to
the
get
titties.
breastfed, guys.
I mean, I feel like he's probably partaking of all of the vices.
Yeah.
Particularly with that,
sure,
like,
but
Let's all be
told him
honest
when
with
you ready, come
ourselves.
back. I mean, exactly.
maternal affection, which he never got.
Yeah.
But
he
he
didn't
was
want
butt
to,
naked
though.
in that bed, so I'm very certain he's still doing all the other
I
stuff.
mean, he
too.
was butt naked, but the lady was closed, and she actively tried to engage him in sex, and he's like, no.
He said
No,
not
he just wanted to
here, which I
cuddle.
thought was weird.
Well, all
Yeah,
right.
he said
so
not here.
My thought is like because he's been going to her for.
That's who he lost his
he's-
virginity to.
Yeah, and I think he's gone again. Like I think sometimes it's like let's, sometimes I think he wants mommy, and sometimes I think he wants sex.
Mommy.
Yeah, mommy.
By the way, so some people think that maybe this is a book thing, but that there's something between Aemond and Helena. What do you guys think about that?
Definitely after this episode.
Sure.
Yeah.
That was I thought that in season 1, after he Aegon's griping about having to marry her, and he's like, well, I would do my duty, and it seems like.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, the madam is the redhead.
It seems like he had, I think, maybe a better understanding with them, but I got just small breadcrumb nodes of it being was it Aemond the Dragon Knight and his sister,
and I think that's kind of what they were trying to kind of push,
just a little bit, like the subtext is there.
Bit. Yeah, like
I
didn't get the feeling that he was like in love with Helena. I get the feeling that it was more like I would have done a better job at this than Aegon.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, and I think like once they were like aged up, and like that whole scene where like when they had to like drag Aegon out of the sept, like I think
it like confirmed it. Yeah, I don't think it was that he was in love with Helena. It was just like he said, he would do his duty, and like
I would do
I also think he gets Helena a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think
they're both members of the family.
I could see Aemond being a little neurospicy too.
Well, I mean,
oh, for sure.
He was like, they made fun of me because I was different. And it's like, I mean, like, is that why they made fun of you? Like, they made fun of you because, like, you made it easy.
Well, so
like he's not different. Like, how is like? I mean, he's crazy.
I think too, like as a kid, he seemed so serious.
Sure, but it wasn't like,
so.
I don't know. I guess in the scheme of like why people get bullied, like it's a little bit like, all right, calm down, dude.
Yeah,
it was definitely an older sibling picking on his younger sibling, and he brought the cousins in on it.
Yeah, and it turned into like, ooh, look at me, I'm the victim. I mean, of course, he did lose an eye, but he gained something much better. He was like, it was a fair trade.
Yeah, so yeah, he was somewhat calm and reasonable before that point, but then he got Vhagar and his balls dropped. So now we get this.
God, I love his eye though. Like when he takes the sapphire off, like
sapphire.
I'm very glad that they kept the sapphire. Yeah.
There was something actually in the trailer where they showed the girl at the brothel, the blonde girl, and everyone thought she was going to be a major character, and she turned out not to be. What do you think she'll be?
The brothel girl?
Yeah,
like the blonde, like
the blonde with the fan.
She does have a name.
Oh, she does.
Copper Penny.
Oh, so do you think she will be a prominent character?
That is all I know. Like it is some casting. Like she might get like a written line or two, like a spoken line or two later on.
She's too old to be one of Aegon's daughters, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
No, because Aegon's only 22.
Okay.
He's 20.
So, she'd be
like
too
that
old.
girl, I mean, like even if she was like 13, which
She'd
she's
still be a
not.
little too old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he would have
Yeah.
been 7 or
Yeah. I think the one
he would've
bastard of
been-
Aegon that they have shown us, we'll see, I think, in a later season.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I assumed he was dead.
So Margus
I
says that
thought
they
that was
think
Gaiman.
they think Aemond was bullied because he didn't have a dragon. That makes sense.
Well,
I
yeah,
think.
they did.
Well,
bully him 'cause he
that
didn't
was
have a dragon.
part of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was definitely part of it. That's what is it they called it? The pink dread
Yeah.
Oh,
or some
the
nonsense
thing.
like that. Yeah, but
Which was
he also
funny.
was just being razzed.
Rhaela, like
because
Rhaela, just
Aegon's a-
Rhaela. What's Baela's sister's name? Rhaela.
Rhaena.
Rhaena.
So she doesn't have a dragon either, right?
No.
At that point, well, actually, right now, yes, she still doesn't have a
she
dragon,
doesn't have a dragon.
but it is
Yeah.
coming.
Okay, so that's something we'll look forward
Well,
to.
I mean that's one of the storylines I think is going to change, but
Mhm.
we won't say more.
I'm sure Damon has a few bastards, of course.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. That's around the
Becks
rumor
and I
mill with the
talked about
fandom.
this.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I didn't say I like it. I just think, like, conservation of characters and
Exactly. And,
you know-
and I also don't want it to just be the thing that everyone says it's known for. I like the other tinfoil part of it better. So I'm hoping they actually do that storyline.
all right.
I will not explain further. If you know, you know.
Offline about
Yeah.
like, I could take that at least 4 different ways.
So is there anything we haven't touched on yet?
The small folk.
Do we want to talk
The
about
small folk?
Hugh Hammer.
Hugh the Hammer.
Hugh, yes, we
and
got
Cat.
the hammer.
And the
Hugh and
Hall,
Cat.
and the Hall
And the-
brothers.
And the who?
And the Hall
Oh,
brothers.
and Adam.
Hall
Alan and
brothers.
Adam.
Alan and Adam.
Alan
Yeah.
and Hall.
Just I did this on my stream on Monday, and I would like to just repeat it here. I
Sure.
appreciate all of the lovely smooth chocolate face that both of those brothers were given.
Adam
I'm
is
happy
gorgeous. That
to
bone
see them.
structure. My
Adam
God.
has his
Oh,
son,
hair is
I'm
majestic.
saying,
Adam's cheeks are
right, just like
kidding?
perfectly chiseled.
Oh, I mean,
Like
This
bread with those
smooth as
cheekbones.
butter looking skin, bruh.
they took away Sir Daddy Strong and they gave us Adam
They
Boy.
give us they give
Well,
us Daddy
Alan
Bro.
is from Raised by Wolves.
have,
He's
right.
father. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't know,
heard that. I still gotta watch that
Alicia, I don't know if you watched the show, but I think he's bulked up for this. He looks very big.
I
Whereas-
remember seeing the previews for it, and
Yeah.
He's like twice the size now than
Yeah,
he was.
and whereas Alan
then.
is kind of more like he's very, he's fit, but
he's a bit
never-
more. He's got like a lacrosse player's body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's
exactly.
well muscled, but he's slim.
Yeah, like a swimmer, lacrosse player.
Yeah. And
Kinda
I
show he
appreciate
might.
that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Actually,
like-
can I ask a question? Because when me, Fandom, and DJ were talking about it, DJ thought that the dragon that he saw there was actually Moon Dancer, and it was Baela going up. I thought it was Sea Smoke.
It's
And actually, I
definitely
think we
sea
talked
smoke.
about it when Becks was on with me on Monday too.
It's
Yeah,
sea smoke.
pretty sure
Yeah,
it was
Sea
Sea Smoke.
Yeah, it's sea smoke.
I'm hot.
Wait,
Hold on 1 second. I have to make sure my AC's on.
Okay.
Go, go.
Just getting hot and bothered.
Like Moon Dancer
He
is
was
so
so fine.
Yeah, Moon Dancer is more of a green tint.
Or
And
like,
the dragon that we
like-
saw was
Yeah.
definitely gray,
Yeah,
like Sea Smoke was.
yeah.
But that gives me a little bit of me wanting to send an angry email because
Oh,
they need to fix that. They need to fix that in the lore because dragons do not have
Yeah.
more than one mount at a time. So
Yeah.
where the hell is Rhaenyra?
well,
Honestly, I think we'll find out about
yeah, I
his
think
death
Find out what? Sorry, I
He's
missed it.
stoned.
when Sea Smoke is claimed. When
Yeah.
Sea Smoke is claimed, Rhaenyra's gonna be oh shit, Rhaenyra's dead.
By the way, I love her name, Lady
Well,
Stoned Heart.
so, yeah, I mean, I've said this like
Yes,
we're
welcome,
either gonna
Kimmy.
get like a weird, like Lena.
Yeah, it's gonna be some weird off screen.
Can I tell you my headcanon for Rhaenyra?
abandonment.
Yes.
And it's been enough years where it's like, all right, they're not coming back, or maybe
This
he
is
did like
my-
some sort of ritual.
This is
Sorry.
my Rhaenyra headcanon.
Okay.
Give it to
So
us.
the story about Rhaenyra was that Carl Corey, what was his name?
Mhm.
Sir Carl,
Mhm.
that he killed him right across
Right.
the narrow sea. But then what we see
Yes.
is that he actually ran off with Carl. I think Carl still killed him across the narrow sea. So
Do
even though he ran,
do you think he got a check?
Why?
You think he got
Why?
the
Lover
bag
spat.
for killing him?
No, I
Oh,
think
like
that they had a
what?
they had a
Damn.
lover spat and
Oh.
Carl
So it was
killed
a
him.
crime of
But-
passion. That
but-
would still suck though. I don't like it.
Yeah, but here's the thing,
No.
like when we're talking in regards to like sea smoke, are we going to be told? Like,
I
is,
think we're gonna be
Yeah.
is like news somehow going to get to like maybe even like crazy news gets like Rainey's or Corliss, like where it's like, oh, we found him. I don't know. Like that's not realistic.
Yeah, I feel like it would be too
also,
much of a
like,
side
I
quest.
don't think
Yes,
Yeah.
Western.
oh, this is what happened
think-
to Rhaenyra. I think we're just going to be shown when sea smoke gets claimed. Oh, that means
Yeah,
Rhaenyra's dead.
yeah.
Yeah.
It could mean that, but I need them to specifically
Yeah, like
say
they
that.
need to explain. They do need to kind of explain like whether or not like has Rhaenyra died off screen, or is there some like loophole where it's like, well, once it's been like 5 years, like
Like your dragon just
Right,
thinks you're
or
dead.
is there like where do we know where Sea Smoke has been all this time?
He's
Has
been
he
chilling in the
still been on
mountains.
Driftmark,
yeah, he's
or
been
just flying around the mountains?
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
so,
been hanging
yeah.
out there.
Yeah, so yeah, then that they definitely need to let us know if there is a certain amount of time, or if because of the way their dragon riders and their dragons are always connected, like on a super psychic level, maybe Rhaenyra and Sea Smoke had a discussion, said, "Hey, I'm gonna hang out over here.
Like
if,
Arya and
I'm
her,
not
her
coming back."
direwolf.
Yeah, like Arya and her direwolf. Yeah, because and
What
also
happens
dragon
if
riders,
the-
how do they even control the
Yeah.
dragons or on where to go? They literally just get on and they ride in the direction they need to go. So there has to be some type of deep mind connection
Yeah,
for that to happen.
yeah, and like it might not have been as like it's strong enough where like they might not even have been face to face. Like he obviously didn't have time. Like we know he didn't like make a a pit stop to say like, hey, or like peace out.
Do you think Rhaenyra's alive?
As of right now, I think he is.
Okay.
I just need them to tell me different.
I mean,
And I do agree. I think it was Tanya that said it. It is like Arya connecting from Bravos across the Narrow Sea and the Riverlands to
Because if that's the
Nymeria.
case, then Rhaenyra is a bigamist then.
No, I like my absolute headcanon is that he did get killed by Carl eventually, and that it's that's just his fate.
I'm definitely not surprised if he's dead. Like, I mean, like ultimately, like, and I don't like to say it, like, I don't think it matters. Like, he's alive or dead. Like,
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Really,
He's
like,
not coming back. So
yeah, he's not.
I mean,
matter.
fair enough. But once that happens, like I think everyone's going to be expecting it. But Rhaenyra, if it is the case that dragons can't have two mounts, Rhaenyra is going to know automatically. Like I'm sorry, I forget who it was that said it earlier. But does she then tell? Is it even worth them going into it? Because who would believe her if she said something?
No, it's not worth. It's not worth bringing it up.
Because there's still no proof.
Put that in your back pocket.
I do have a little bit of a something that I think is going to happen, but I'm not going to talk about it on this stream because it's too.
Okay, I would appreciate that conference call off stream, please and thank you.
Well, actually, if we have anything else we're going to talk about? Because I'm probably going to start wrapping things up. Like, do you guys have any final thoughts?
Do we want to talk about like
the small folk and the rat catchers that hanging?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be right back.
Okay.
You guys go ahead. I'll be right back.
Go ahead, Tanya.
Showing us the families reacting to the rat catchers dying, showing us Hugh Hammer reacting. Well, they don't call him Hugh Hammer yet. They just call him Hugh, but he's a blacksmith, so Hugh Hammer. Showing his reaction to this impending recession is just setting the stage for a revolt.
Yeah,
absolutely,
very much so. I think Otto was spitting nothing but facts, and it is very seldom you will hear me defend anything Otto does. But right here, he was absolutely speaking facts. Watch how you speak to the king. No, little asshole.
Oh my God,
this is my moment. I am speaking to my grandson, and he's being a fucking cunt. So
I had
no,
to edit
he
out
needs
some
to
of the
be-
things I said in reaction to that when I was talking to Nikki. I was like, oh
Bruh.
shit, I gotta
But
do a
I
fine-tuned
was
edit of this.
so heated with that
Self-indulgent.
nonsense.
Trifling.
Like bro,
Trifling, I
Bruh.
loved it. That's the
Come
first
on,
time I
like-
loved Otto.
right?
It
And he read him for filth as well. He should have, because you're
Mhm.
being an idiot. But the thing that I love though, and y'all know me, I appreciate a good petty. And Otto had all of the pettiness to bring.
Oh.
When after Aegon said, he my father named me king, and then he laughed.
Is that what you think?
And
That's
that's
what
what
you
really
think.
did it. Oh, bitch, that's what you thought? Word?
my
Are you
favorite
sure?
one was like, my favorite one was like, and what has Sir Kristen Cole done? It was it was like
I mean,
They were both
voice
left
was like
butthurt.
That man's face
so
was
strong.
outrageous.
They were both left butt hurt, and I appreciated everything about that, especially since Mans was halfway out the door and had already thrown his badge down on the ground as instructed. There you go. You can go ahead and pick up that little piece of shit. Lightweight. I don't need that no more. And I'm already halfway out the door, which means I quit. I don't care. And Aegon's gonna come in at the end. You've been relieved of
I will
whatever the fuck it
definitely
was
say-
he said.
I definitely say like, no, Aegon fired him because like he was like, you're joking. It's like, you wouldn't dare, and he's like, I dare, and like then, and it's like, and then
Okay, it was
give it to this.
it was more so
asshole in
him
the
getting the last word in. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
no,
you're
yeah,
right.
and
You're right. Yeah, he did say you're fired earlier.
yeah, but then giving it to fucking
The
Kristen,
worst.
and like the
person.
insult. Like,
Honestly, I think he gave it to Kristen because Kristen was just there. He
Yeah.
wanted to fuck with his grandpa, and Kristen was the nearest body he could.
Yeah.
He had.
You know what?
like I think even if he had
I
like a
like that.
moment to think about it, like he's an idiot, he would have chose Krista because
He wants
Because it was
violence.
also Laris. He could have chosen Laris, and Laris.
No,
he
well,
could
see,
be very capable.
I think
that's the thing about Loris. Loris was working on it because he's
Yeah,
the
no,
one that started planting those seeds.
but Laris is all about the long game. Like I think
It is
like
long game.
Kristen Cole getting the hand job like is exactly what Laris does. Like,
Getting the
High
hand
five,
job.
Tanya. High five.
I'm sorry, I'm 12.
No.
No, right? Yeah,
I
so, yeah.
didn't
We're
hear
a
it.
bunch of teenage boys going through puberty. Sorry.
That's how it's gonna be known as. Like Kristen got the hand job.
And yes, Naki, I agree. The laugh, the laugh is what did it. He wouldn't have said anything if Otto would have just walked out. But he again, I'm the king. I declare war. How you gonna declare war when we were already at war, young man?
Yeah, I like how they keep saying we're trying to stop a war when it's like, no, this war has already started. Like people have already died.
Yeah,
like you haven't sent soldiers onto the field, but like this war has already begun. There are casualties.
Seriously, the delusionness of it all, and I feel like all of them on Team Green are not really grasping the whole situation right now.
And it finally was like, for all we hate Otto and like the whole thing is shitty and sucky, but it's like he was right at every turn in this episode. Like it's like we should do this.
I agree.
We should do that. And even though it was horrible, like I mean, we talked about it in AK stream on Monday, where it's like, the funeral was not a bad idea, but who should have been behind it was Otto and Aemond.
And where the hell were they?
Well,
in the house.
Come on, bro.
The realm must weep with the gentlest.
No.
Well, no, I understand that they could have still done that, but they should have had the whole family out there in solidarity.
They should have been there.
The men that would have been the men.
I was comparing.
Weak. They have to be strong. Don't you know? They have to be strong.
I was comparing Otto to Tywin because my thought was that had this been Tywin, Rhaenyra, he would have already sent someone to murder Rhaenyra without the small council chatter.
And it would have, and it highly likely had every chance of being done. if
I
that's
don't think
the way they
Tywin
went.
would have called a small council meeting to discuss it.
Tywin would have just given the order.
But that's what Otto wanted to do when Viserys initially died. That was the whole like
Right.
Council
But that's what I'm saying. Like he
episode.
discussed it with them. I think Tywin wouldn't have discussed it with them. I think he would have just had it done
Well,
and discussed it after.
He would have made moves so everybody that was watching him would see him going one way, and then he would secretly be in the back alley. Hey, go crawl over to Dragonstone and hand him my lightweight.
I think when Tywin was Han, he had a small council that would have done anything that he wanted. I think like he's so political, like he
was in the height of his power. He was in the height of his power when he was Han.
Right, but even like with the Red Wedding, they didn't have small council meetings about it. He just
but he was hand of the king.
Oh, right. You're right.
Yeah. Like when he was hand of the king,
that.
like he would have been like, like he would have had it already enacted, and then like,
or I guess I could say the difference is that Otto had a conversation about it. Tywin would have told them that this is what's happening.
Exactly.
I
mean,
there would not have been any mistakes there at all. And had again, Rhaenyra's pretty much blockaded herself in Dragonstone. Tywin's the type of dude that would find a way to get past all of that. And
I would
love you could still get touched.
AK, you write fan fiction. I need some fan fiction where Aemond and Daemon are on the same side, because I would love them together fighting.
Tanya, see, this is why me and Tanya were friends. You already know I got like 3 storylines already started on that, bruh.
I would love that.
The uncle husband situation should have been Daemon and
Aemond.
I mean, but can y'all imagine though? Because literally, and
they can forgive incest best, but they cannot forgive homosexuality.
Come on, Becks. How dare you? How dare you?
After Blood and Cheese, like because he kicked the dog, it's like I can excuse regicide, but I can't excuse animal abuse.
Like, no, he kicked the dog, bro. You get to hang right now on the gallows just for that.
Oh.
Why? By the way, why did he need to bring the dog? He goes, bring the dog up with you,
and then dogs are ratters.
They had to keep up appearances. They had to keep up appearances and look like they belonged in there.
But also, I did have in doubt when he says grab the dog, because he was also holding a torch and he was carrying the rat cages, and he's supposed to have walked up climbed up that ladder, and then suddenly they don't show that part, and then suddenly they're on the upper level.
That line is just to make sure
that was some magic.
No, that line was just to make sure you realized that there was a dog there.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Because
also, like I know you guys probably touched on it already, but I am a little perturbed on Mr. Crispy, especially when he takes it upon himself to go in after my man's Arik, has been up all night, pulled damn near a double shift.
Oh yeah, we are.
Did exactly what he was supposed to do. And you,
but they're actually pronounced the same way.
Pulling rank on the goddamn funeral. And trying to protect his mama and his queen.
Right, I'm serious. My bad about the cloak, boss. Okay, I understand. I get it. But
it's supposed to
can I finish my breakfast? And you are the last motherfucker that need to be telling me any damn thing about.
Yeah, we were also talking about it earlier. It's all projection.
Yeah. Alicia, I think also that we've determined that their names are pronounced the same way.
Eric and Eric. It is supposed to be, but in my defense, George has always said, however you think it should be pronounced is how it's pronounced. So I like to distinguish. I mean, A for Alicent, so that's how I remember it was Arik that was over there, and Eric is on Dragonstone.
By the way, if you ever want a really good rat killer, you got to get a weasel or a ferret. I watched a video where the ferrets. Oh my god! You have an invasion of rats. You get some ferrets, and you're going to be in really good shape.
And
a rat tried to move under the hood of my car.
What's that?
Excuse me, what?
A rat tried to move in under the hood of my car.
Oh my god!
Everything.
Oh, and that's a New York rat too. They different.
Yeah, because I live in Manhattan. I live in Manhattan, so I'm not parked at my apartment. I'm parked in a lot 4 blocks away.
Oh my gosh!
And so I don't see my car every day, and I don't start it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rats and pigeons, and Becks could tell you, Tanya could tell you, they different in New York.
In New York.
In the 5 boroughs, okay? They don't act like other mice
By the way,
and pigeons
They
do.
act like humans.
This is my main pet peeve, okay, in the show. So Allison's mother is House Florent, right? Like we've Elise Florent, and their sigil has ermine in it. Why the fuck is there no ermine in the show? Like
So-
it's
like
What
we
can you tell me what ermine is? I'm sorry. I
ermine
don't
is
know.
the fur that you
Like,
see
is
a lot of royals wear with the black
the
flecks in
white-
it.
with the
The
black
white.
Okay.
Yes, there's no
So,
ermine,
alright.
and you guys know I love ermine, right?
So they just now named her.
Yeah,
She's
she
not-
wasn't.
like,
Oh
named
yeah,
in
this
the
is the
book.
not
first time
named
that
in
she's
the
been
book.
named, right?
Like like they named her in the show.
They did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But also, but Stannis' wife was a Florent as well.
she was.
And there was no
Yes.
ermine in
There-
Game of Thrones.
there- I thought their sigil was a fox.
It's a fox on a
House
ermine
Florent?
background
Oh,
with
God,
with
God,
blue
God,
blue
right.
flowers.
Yeah.
And
Hold on,
so
what you mean we disrespecting Father's Day? Explain yourself.
Wait,
who
what?
me?
Oh, Son for a Son was on Father's Day.
Oh.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. By the way, speaking of something being really strange, did you guys? This is totally out of left field. Did you see that Nosferatu is coming out on Christmas Day?
I didn't even know that they were remaking that movie.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that like
Oh
a-
my
a
God.
time
Yes.
now?
Nosferatu?
So
Nosferatu
the
by
code of-
Robert Eggers.
I'm gonna
Oh,
say
Robert Eggers is doing Nosferatu.
Yes.
they-
With-
I-
and
I'm-
what-
I think
what
that's
planet?
what it was.
I'm a little disappointed with the casting.
Oh, like Lily Rose Depp?
Yeah, like whatever. And then oh god, that one guy. He was
Nicholas
he
Holt?
was- no, the guy with 3 names who's married to like the weird old lady.
Oh God, I love him. He's
What?
hot.
Oh,
Who's
I
the
like
weird old lady.
oh
He's in the Bullet Train, I think.
yeah,
or-
and he was in like the Marvel movies. Like he
Yeah.
was
Let
like
me-
Scarlet Witch's twin.
Oh, Aaron.
Aaron
what's his name from
Taylor
Kick-Ass?
Johnson.
From Kick-Ass?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kitties,
Oh,
where's
wow.
my ermine?
Oh, I was gonna tell you. I looked
call
at
it
the
my Ethel
sigil.
Merman ermine.
It's a red fox in a circle of blue flowers on ermine.
Mm.
Hmm.
So anyway, I want to say some more. No, and why I'm saying that is because it's usually
wears it.
in the royals always wear ermine, like it's on the crowns, like when you see a crown,
Mhm.
it's around the crown,
Mhm.
or they have it on their, they'll have like Prince
It's
Charles,
very
Queen
rare,
Elizabeth.
and it's very cruel to like
Oh, it's terrible.
yeah, it's terrible.
But it's but the same with what was the other royal fur? There's a couple of furs that are typically royal. Mink is another one. So
Hmm.
so anyway, I just was I've been wanting to have ermine. I've been asking for it. Plus there's no lace. We haven't seen any lace either, like Mirish lace. So
Hmm.
That's why I wore this top because
yes, thank you,
there's
Tatiana.
something that has lace in it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, like if any of you guys have connects, can somebody get like an ermine cloak over to
I
Lady
would
Heidi, please?
love
Thank you.
an ermine cloak.
Yes.
And matter of fact, I need 2 of those because yes, I forgot Tanya be a character. in them cloaks.
Yeah, it's Bill
And I
Skarsgård
appreciate
Love
that.
cloaks.
is in it, I
And
believe.
I'm sorry. My problem. My toxic trait is that I love fur.
Are you toxic Day when you put a cloak on?
I'm toxic all the time.
I know many people that would disagree.
She is wearing the 7-pointed star, but it's very small. It's just like a little tiny pendant. And then there is a
Mhm.
dress she has that has a little
Oh!
and the explanation they give about her hair is Olivia Cook. Is it Olivia Cook?
Yeah.
She did an interview and she said that because Laris has changed the staff.
Right.
She-
She doesn't have
Bruh.
the handmaidens.
She's getting rid of all of the help. Like she's paranoid.
So
Which,
Yeah.
and
I don't understand
Being
how
all
she let
herself.
herself get in a bath with these women that he
Ugh.
told you they're all of my trusted people.
Well, I
They
mean,
could
once
drown
she
her
did
out
it,
by you.
once she did it, it dawned on her. Like,
Yeah.
Like
need
you
to
know
go.
that them ladies went straight to Laris and tell her, look, her feet,
Mhm.
Yeah.
they don't look
So-
as good as they did once. Like you might
Yeah,
you
so
could
she's-
draw the feet.
So the idea is she's doing her own hair. That's what they were Oh, but
Well,
she
yeah,
did.
she has a
She's
choice to
doing
do
her own
that
hair
now.
and she's clothing herself.
And also, she said she's kind of more going back more youthful. I was thinking maybe she's trying to be more alluring. I don't know, like in case, like, Kristen Cole, even though she keeps saying we're going to stop doing this, she's maybe trying to be more youthful and alluring, and she's kind of gotten rid of the. You remember in like episode, it was kind of a little bit over the top, though. I thought in episode 7, 8, when she was wearing that really very
Huge.
severe
But
Episode
also,
7
like,
outfit.
like when she was younger, she was doing her own hair.
Yeah.
Like when she hasn't done her own hair in like 12, 15 or 20 years. And so, it's like that's how she knows how to do her hair. And she's definitely, like, granted, like there have been a lot of scenes where it's like like her hair's been down quite a bit. Like,
the only dress that apparently was her mother's dress is the one where she wears the book with the book. It was more to the black. It was much darker. Tatiana, you know the one I'm talking about? It's like a burned out lace one that's off the shoulder.
Yeah.
That
like
was
a
her
dark
mother's
green.
dress.
Yeah. Like a very dark green, almost black.
Yeah, green to the black. Yeah. But yes.
indisposed.
Yeah, indisposed. He knew what it meant. He knew what was going on there.
Where were you when the son was
That
being murdered? Oh, it was a
saying
bed.
Exposed, he knows.
Yeah. When they say when you are impaired, your other senses are always tuned in more. So maybe by him having a disability, he's more in tune with hearing or seeing or smelling.
People keep saying that he's a warg and that he wears.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've been here. We've been hearing that since season 1.
Laris.
I kind of want to smack his face. Like, I just, like every time, like all the pictures of him are always the same, and I'm just like, he's not like Kristen Cole, but I just kind of find him really annoying. More like an itch or like an insect bite or something like that. Like, I just find him just kind of intolerable, and I still don't know why she doesn't get rid of him. Like we were talking about this, I think, a bit last week. I don't know if she has the power to get rid of him at this point.
I mean, I think at this point she'd have to have him killed.
She'd have to have him killed. Yeah,
he knows too much.
Yeah,
to just send him away.
Agreed. And he has dirt on Allison. Courtesy of her OnlyFans parchment page.
I also think he's going to make sure to like endear himself to her. Like, especially because I think a lot of people are going to be like, we're finally in the next episodes, we're going to get out of fucking King's Landing and Dragonstone.
Yeah, I think we need to.
Yeah, like
it's feeling a bit stifling.
War is afoot. I think Laris is going to blackmail her. Like, I think he's going to be the one that comes up and says, I know what the fuck's going on. And, we're in cahoots until I tell you otherwise. Like, I think he's going to straight up blackmail her.
I have a question. Do you guys think Laura's had anything to do with the hallways being so empty around Helene and the heirs?
No. I mean, like, they have to, if they tell us, I mean, that means like that Laris and Damon have some sort of like thing going on. Like, I think it was just the household guard is under Cole and the King's Guard, and it was just timing.
So Octavia says Laris did that to be the one to inherit everything. So he's kind of like a Littlefinger opportunist.
He wishes he was Littlefinger.
Yeah. He did technically. He is basically the head of House Strong, though, now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the head of House Strong, and Harrenhal is his.
Harrenhal, okay.
I mean, he is definitely like the Littlefinger type figure.
He's
like
Littlefinger-esque.
But I mean, like, I almost think he might be like actually like smarter and a little bit like more controlled. Like, I don't know, Littlefinger is trying to up in so much where Laris is just like, I'm just gonna like stay in like the mix as it is. Like,
Did you see his torture pouch that he unfolded? Which just
Oh my
basically
gosh.
made
And
blood
blood
just completely
folded
like
I
immediately.
have never seen a prisoner just turn cloak so quickly. And you know what? I'm not gonna fault that man for that.
No,
Because
I don't
whatever
either.
those devices were used for, I don't want any parts of that upon me. Just kill me
Nikki-
quick and get it over with.
Nikki was saying you could probably see the dried blood from the last torture still on them.
Oh yeah.
Facts.
I was actually saying to my husband that being bludgeoned to death with a mace was probably a saving grace for him.
Oh my gosh, Nikki
versus what
Nikki is like
Laris had
lady
in that torture pouch.
Nikki's lady
She
torturer.
did claim that title.
Yes, and she was saying that they should have started at his knees.
And you know what? See, knowing Nikki, I would.
It
be
got a
afraid
lot darker
if
after
that
that.
was where she was.
It was
Matter of
kind of
fact,
like
she just wrote a short story about that.
You guys know The Walking Dead. It was sort of like him using that mace was
Negan.
like
Negan.
Well,
Negan, yeah.
there is one thing, because in the book, like they basically like spread it out for like 2 weeks.
That's
we
awful.
don't actually know he's dead. They could still spread it out for 2 weeks.
That's true. That is true.
And
honestly, on that note, I don't fault myself, and I can't remember exactly, Becks, but I think we had talked about it on Monday. You would not get me to actually kill that man so slowly. No, we are going to have several very long, painful conversations about what you just did to my child. It will not be quick. You will not enjoy this.
This is when we needed House Bolton.
Facts.
This is when you
absolutely, I agree with that.
In the book, it was torture. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I also appreciate where I think House of the Dragons definitely is, I think, taking into account a lot of the criticisms from Game of Thrones where, we definitely got some like unnecessary torture porn.
Mm-hmm.
And where and we obviously had like the very long conversation earlier about like the blood and cheese murder, where like I thought it was so effective, like not to have like watch this like brutal murder of children and like sexual assault of the mother and like the grandmother, and like because it's really gruesome in the book where like
I saw in a video that they wish that they had cut between the funeral with Alicent and Helena and Aegon in the dungeons filtering the blood to kind of depict how each of them grieved their own way.
That it's not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like they definitely need to like put that in the script. Like that should have been a script thing from the beginning. Like, because it's like the Godfather
the ending of the Godfather,
which was like when Cersei blew up the set. Like they did the exact same thing in that episode. Like I almost think it's, although like Game of Thrones definitely would have done like some big fucking set pieces where I love like the intimate Hitchcockian like feel to it.
By the way, did you guys notice that Kat was in the crowd? Hugh's wife. She was actually, when I did a rewatch there, I saw that she was standing in the crowd.
I like when I watched like the behind the scenes and
that's when I saw it.
I was like, oh, that's Hugh's wife.
I haven't watched the behind the scenes yet.
Like I don't do the full one. I just do the ones that like are airing like at the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But but like the introduction, like continuing to have Hugh as a character and like it's definitely gonna lead to there's definitely gonna be a lot of the small folk are not gonna be super happy this whole
Well, we
time.
saw the sort of fallout of that, right? Like I think you guys might have talked about this, but anything that Otto set up is now basically
Exactly.
hanging all of the rat
Yeah.
catchers. Just
He
yeah.
he
Oh, and
set
also
them
there
up
was a
very well.
There was a character. I understand that it will be a principal character who came in and was like, "What's going on here?" And they're like, "Oh, they've hung all the rat catchers."
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Ulf the White.
Ulf the White,
Off the
yes.
White. Mhm.
Yeah.
So he's just sort of
Yeah.
rolled into town or something.
Yeah,
No,
Aegon completely
no,
undermined
they-
everything that Otto just tried to do to
For
get
sure. Yeah.
the small folk, because the small folk were well, I mean, from the consensus I got, it seemed like they were leaning a little bit more to Rhaenyra. And then this happens. Of course, they sully her name, and you got those votes back. But
Yep.
then you went and did this shit. I understand one rat catcher is all you were looking for, and you wanted to strike fear into their hearts. Well, why did you have to kill everybody?
Well, and
then?
they had the torture
You didn't
thing
have
there.
to do that.
Like they had that little torture
Like,
pouch.
Instead,
I guess
maybe
with time.
instead of like killing Blood mercilessly, you kept him tortured up, rounded up all the rat catchers, and tell him which one was it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. He would have
Exactly.
spilled it. He would have spilled the tea.
Well,
Oh,
see,
I-
that's the thing.
but
How
He was
Aegon
anger.
saying, Aegon saying that the guy wouldn't point out who
oh,
exactly
well,
it was, so
no,
we got
like,
all of them.
So what?
But I
what
think that's a lie.
Like what Blood said was like, I don't know his name, and
Mhm.
what Aegon said was like he couldn't identify him. So
Mhm.
like
What do you mean?
I
Aegon
find
What
that
did he
I
look
find that
like? Yeah.
unlikely.
Well, I mean,
It-
but that's like the differential in
Mhm.
in whether or not it was Laris or Aegon. Like Aegon, like was so angry and and it was such an affront. Like he didn't fucking care who actually did it. He wanted to punish everyone, and
Mhm.
like, which is such a stark contrast to like the episode before where he's like, I want to be a good king. I
Mhm.
want
Right.
like small.
Who
folk
will know?
Mhm.
Can we just give him
Mhm.
his sheep? I loved that scene.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
you know,
It's like we
and
won't
like,
tell
it
anyone.
was great. It was great. And like where he was like, I'm trying to figure this out. And I like, my actual reaction is to like not be a fucking dickhead. Even
Right,
though
have a cool
he's-
head
I
about
mean, he's a
something.
rapist and like he like watching
A
like
horrible person.
child dog fights. Like, yeah.
Ridiculous, horrible person. I feel like that's that reason specifically because of how Aegon has been completely disrespecting and hurting every handmaiden at the castle. That's why when Blood and Cheese walked in that room and that one lonely maid saw them, she was like, you know what? No, y'all good. I didn't see shit. Let me exit stage left.
Yeah.
I feel her.
And she did not go and raise the alarm at all because she probably felt what was
They're
about to
also
happen.
like
And she said, no, I'm good.
like Blood put his fucking torch down at some point. Like I thought like a room was gonna be like
Oh, I totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good
Thought it was
point.
gonna
I
catch
didn't
fire.
know. Well, that was really weird.
Yeah,
The only thing I
like,
could think of is that it rolled and then it just snuffed itself out. But that
but
I did
it's
think
like,
the curtains would
then
go up or
why-
something.
Yeah, like no, like he basically like dropped his torch.
Dropped it
like,
and went out into the
it's
hall.
like
And that,
there's
yeah.
so much fabric in this room. Like
Yeah.
it's like fabric and wood.
Absolutely.
And like without like weird flame retardant chemicals. Like
I'm not even sure the reason behind it. Like it just seemed like a really weird thing to do.
again, like they might have
I-
had like a room like that they like burnt out and then like for whatever reason like fuck it, like we can't put it in that.
Yeah, I
kinda
thought
don't
actually-
understand
Yeah.
how they even had to go take the route that they took to get to those rooms. Like they literally walked in front
I
of.
mean, I think
Aegon
they were
through the
just
throne room.
wandering.
He-
I think they got
right,
lost.
like, but Damon knows all of the back alleys and
Does he know
secret
all of the
passages and all
tunnels, or
that.
does he know?
like
Damon? Yeah,
I don't
No,
think he knows
no,
all of the tunnels.
no, I like
he
I
knew
don't
how to
think
get out
he
of the
does.
castle secretly. I
So,
don't think
like,
anyone knows all of the tunnels.
Yeah, and this is the thing about season 1. Like season 1 did such a great job of like kind of like capturing things through like weird side windows and like
Mhm.
like where it really just showed like you could spy in the castle and like And no, I don't. Well, I mean, like multiple reasons why Daemon couldn't go in, but I don't think Daemon actually knows those tunnels well enough, because that's why he specifically, I mean, he got a rat catcher, and it's like that rat catcher knows more about that castle than Daemon will ever know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but see that still says so. Why did they so publicly walk through the castle? Why didn't they just take the secret tunnels? Because as if he does know the castle really that well,
Well, I think you
then
have to get
he
into
would
the
know those were
castle.
there.
Yeah, you have to get into the castle.
Well, they were in the castle even before they walked
Right,
in
but
front of
no,
Aegon. They
no,
were up
no,
on the
no, like-
balcony.
They were on the outside, like the outside of the castle.
Yeah.
I think
No,
they weren't
Daemon-
in.
Okay, but
They had to get in the
didn't they
castle.
show? Didn't
When
they
they
show a
walked
scene
across
with them
the
being
throne
on the
room?
balcony? No, it was before that. They were looking down at Aegon with his friends while he was on the throne sitting there drinking.
Yeah, but
And
that's
then
when
they went down the
initially got-
stairs and walked across that.
Yeah, like, but
That was after they'd gone through all the like through the underground tunnels.
I think this is like one of those things, like, we've been on a stream for a long time.
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up.
I mean,
We've been on over 3 hours.
We'll never answer that question.
Probably not.
I mean,
Um,
it was pretty well established that the rat catchers have basically free reign over the castle. They just
Well, no,
see the
there's places
people.
where he said he couldn't.
No,
be
yeah,
seen
he
because
wasn't
doesn't
allowed to
belong
be in
there.
the upper
He
levels.
wasn't let.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
the apartments.
So they have their portions that they're responsible for, not the
Mhm.
whole thing.
But either way, when they go through the castle, they're basically invisible. Nobody notices them. That's why
Mhm.
But,
they were able to sneak in.
but so another reason why, like, Daemon isn't going into the castle, it's like kind of like he doesn't, and if like anything goes wrong, he can't get out of the castle, which is like kind of a parallel to like Eric Arik, like, you know, Arik going into the like he's never getting out of the castle. So like Daemon's just like, I'm never gonna get out of the castle, so I'm not gonna go in the castle. But I'm gonna find someone who like, might have a little bit more knowledge than I do.
Also, it's interesting that he says that he wants Blood and Cheese to kill Aemond, but he also says that Aemond is a great fighter, so you're probably not gonna be able to defeat him. Do you think that killing Aemond wasn't just the sole objective, and if they couldn't find him, then send for a son, but it was actually to send a message that you might feel safe in the Red Keep, but you're not as safe as you think you are?
I mean, for Daemon, yeah. Like even
those two things are not mutually exclusive.
yeah. Like I think for Daemon, like
even if they found Aemond would probably have kicked their asses.
Right.
Well, Eamon does make
Yeah.
a comment about how Damon is afraid to,
To face him.
him.
But,
So that's
It could be
his
something
arrogance.
No.
That's his arrogance
No.
speaking.
yeah.
We all know how
that.
that fight gonna turn out.
Yeah. It's like, oh, baby boy, like just cradling your mama's arms, like because like, ooh, you
you sweet
not,
summer child.
We haven't seen him in a battle yet, though.
You're not ready for this smoke.
Well, we haven't seen him in battle, but we've seen how he is on the training field, and
That's true.
he's beat Crispy
Yep,
a few
that's
times
true.
during sparring. So
Mhm.
I think against those two, I think he could have won, but he would have had to work for it. But if Crispy was still in there with him, there's no chance.
No, like we're
they
talking
would've been
about
dead.
like him and Damon. Like him and Damon. Like he's like, ooh, Damon's afraid of me. And it's like
Relax.
Exactly. Relax. That's him
afraid of Vhagar. And
that's him in his
no,
ego.
And if like that's what Damon, like if Damon really if you want to be smart about it, because like what he really wanted to do is like get rid of Vhagar. And it's like like that's when like because she's like give me give me Aemon Targaryen. That's when he should have been like Rhaenys, let's go. Because like that's when she's like, what if you were king? And it's like, all right, queen is now said, let's go get the dragon rider and get the dragon. Because Damon's not afraid of Aegon, like he's afraid of
They are.
Thank you.
Amen.
God,
I know.
Memes of the dragons.
So I think we should wrap up because I have to go to bed soon. Well, why don't we go around and everyone can just tell everyone where you can be found and all that. Tatiana, why don't we start with you?
Sure. I have an Instagram page, Tatiana Melendez PR. I rarely ever use it. Or you can see me here in the live streams once in a blue moon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, I wanted to say I'm in a play that's touring the island for 50 plus shows. I'm gonna be acting in it, and I'm a costume assistant, and I'm designing the costumes for some of the characters. And also, the same people that are doing that play are also doing a movie, and they want me to design for that movie too.
Wow, that's awesome.
Nice.
Thanks,
Nice.
Chris. That's awesome, Tatiana. Well, I've got your I think I've got everyone's credentials in the description. What about you, Tanya? What are you up to? What do you have coming up?
Oh man, coming up. So not much. We haven't planned our next 30 Tuesday or our next book club. So, but if you follow us on all the things, we'll post there when we have something. A new thing we've been doing is meeting up to play Dungeons and Dragons in person.
Oh, fun!
Yeah, through Dungeon in a Box. They host an event called Dungeons and Draft House at Alamo Draft House in Brooklyn.
Yeah, so I'm going not this Sunday, but the following
July 7th one.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm gonna miss that one because I'll be traveling,
So
but I'll be
fun.
back for August. So it's like once
This
a
will
month.
be my first Dungeons and Dragons game.
I wish I'd be there for it. But
We'll be there in spirit.
yeah, but you can find me on here, A Thousand Eyes in One podcast. It's Nikki and I.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki.
And she's there in your
Me.
picture. And you both you're both Targaryens.
Justice Targaryens, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so follow, Twitter, we're 1000 Eyes One, Facebook and Instagram 1000 Eyes One, and our book club is Wine on an Empty Stomach.
Question.
Yes.
Aren't we doing the next book to be the Sanderson?
Oh yeah, you're right. I am. Nikki's gonna beat my ass.
How did I make the reference before you?
Nikki's gonna beat me up for that. Our next book for book club is Elantris by Brandon Sanders. It's late, okay?
Yes.
I'll drop the link for it where you can come and watch us. Give me 1 second so I can find it.
I am deducting
thank
10
you
points
for that.
from Ravenclaw for that.
I've lost 20 points tonight.
Tisk.
Let's see my videos. Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. And so we're both like Sandersons, and this is our first time doing a Sanderson book. We figured this one, it's a one-off as of now, so it should be.
Is this the Sanderson book that someone can read without reading any other?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that's why we chose it.
Right.
Because you can just read this one without committing to 9 other books.
Yeah, you can also listen to the audio if you happen to read on the go.
Thanks, Imagination. What about you, Alicia? What? I know you're really busy.
Yeah, which is weird because I'm usually just sporadic on YouTube, but it is dragon season.
It is.
And a lot of my fave shows have come back. So tomorrow on the Citadel of Trivia is Jackbox Night. So we're probably going to do some mystery murder dinner things and probably some murder trivia as well. Then Sunday, we will be on probably back at the cousin's house. Y'all know if you've been watching me, Daphne and Tanisha, my 2 cousins, we do the watch-alongs for the episode together. Come hang out with us. If y'all don't have nobody to watch with, come watch with us. But you got to have your own HBO subscription. I'm not taking that copyright hit. So you will only hear sounds in the background. I will not be showing the episode, but come through and jibber jabber with us. It's always a good time. And then Monday we'll be back for the discussion. Me and Meeks. I believe our guests for Monday will be Johnny the Irish Wildling, aka John Greenhands, aka the homie that put together a kind of banging ass theme song for me on these Dragon Streets. And what else? There's something else I'm
Sarah.
missing. Tuesday, I'll be on with DJ11 and Fandom talking about The Boys episode 2 because that
fun.
just came out.
I finally
Monday.
Mhm. I
Yes,
have to watch
good. Good. Join us if you have time on one of those episodes. It's our Wednesday show, so I'll ping you and then you can let me know later. Monday, myself and Meeks will also be talking about the House of the Dragon episode 3. Are we on? Is that it? Yes, 3. So yeah, that will be fun. And there's a few other things coming up, but I'll wait till next week to announce those.
Yay. And what about you? Last but not least, we've got Becks.
Hi. You can find me on the socials at Shadowcat _ Becks. I'll be here
Thanks
with
for using those.
Heidi on and off like through the season, and yeah, like you can follow me to see pictures of birds and cats and some occasional punk rock shows.
And some nature pics because Becks has a good eye on those photos.
Birds.
Yeah,
I like middle aged. Like I am officially a birder.
That's awesome. Yeah. And well, we're going to be back next Thursday. So whoever's available is always welcome to come and join me. I mean, I want to get Fandom on here.
Absolutely.
Alicia will try and get him on.
We go. I will play middleman for that. Yeah, we'll work it out. We do a show on Thursdays, but we can get it together. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, not like you can't get Fandom on next Thursday because I can't come next Thursday.
Oh, okay. We'll wait till you're available. So you can't come next Thursday. Tatiana, are you available next Thursday?
Let me check.
That's 4th of July, isn't it?
It's 4th of July.
Yeah, it is 4th of July. I want to say I'll be available, but I might be
Canadians not paying attention to these American holidays.
Shadowcat. We'll have to work that out. Maybe we'll move it if it's an issue. But what I was going to say is
Shadowcat.
I have a video coming out on episode 2.2, and then I am doing, actually, this is so weird. I'm doing 2 costume designer reviews. So or interviews, I should say. So I've got one, a movie called Fancy Dance, and it's coming out tomorrow on Apple. And then I'm also doing, do you guys know Phantasma? It's with Stephen Buscemi. It's on HBO. Anyway, I'm doing an interview with a costume designer for that on Monday or Tuesday.
Is that a remake of something? Because the name sounds familiar, but
Phantasma.
it's for like an old.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. They just asked me. Phantasmas. It's is this it? It is an American surrealistic comedy television series created by Julia Torres, and it stars Paul Dano, Stephen Buscemi, Tilda Swinton.
What is this airing on?
It's on HBO. So there's 4 episodes that have been out so far.
What's it called?
Phantasmas.
Okay, so
Phantasmas.
we're gonna have to do another like separate stream about how Discovery, that parent company is like, I think, trying to tank HBO. Like,
I don't know what's going on there. It's really bizarre.
I mean,
shit's been wonky since the merge.
Yeah, like.
Emma Stone's in it.
And also, the guy that's running the company now, like, and also, like, apparently, House of the Dragon numbers are a little bit down.
Yeah, that's weird, eh?
Approved the 3rd season. Like, I'm very worried about the budget for the 3rd season.
But the Fancy Dance, I just watched it. It's really good. It's with Lily Gladstone stars in it. So that's the interview I'm doing tomorrow. It's contemporary. So anyway, I said to Justin the other day, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It's so busy. So I'm not going to complain. I'm always happy when they ask me to do an interview with a designer. It's always very cool. So anyway, those will be coming out over the next week or so. And for anybody who's from Canada, I want to wish you a happy Canada Day. It's on Monday. So our US friends here have 4th of July on Thursday, but for us, our big day is Monday. So it's our birthday.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This week
Happy
is Fourth of
Canada
July.
Day.
Thank you so much. I'll be drinking the maple syrup. Someone was asking about the Acolyte. I actually am really enjoying the Acolyte. The last episode, oh my fucking God. Wow, is all I can say.
I'm fairly certain at some point, me, DJ, and Fandom will cover that on DJ's channel because we're big Star Wars fans.
Yeah, it's Alicia, have you seen it?
I have not watched it yet. No.
Okay. We can talk about that later. But anyway, so we'll hopefully. So I think we might be back Thursday, but if we have to rejig it, we'll figure it out. And anyway, I'm really looking forward to watching the episode on Sunday. Do we want to rate this episode? Last week we rated it. Do you guys want to rate it before we go? Sorry, Tatiana, anyone want to say something?
Oh yeah, no. I just said that I'm free on the 4th and the 18th, but not the 11th.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right, so we'll work it out. Do you guys want to rate the episode before we go out of 10?
I will give it a solid 9.
Oh, okay, that's really good.
I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
The scenes between the characters were amazing, and the acting was top notch all around.
I'm not good at rating. I give everything a 10 out of 10.
Okay, Natural gave it a 9. Jay gave it an 8. What about you? What about you, Becks? What did you do last week? I gave it an 8 last week.
I think I gave it an 8 or an 8.5 last week, and I think I want to do the same. Like it's too hard. Like
I'm gonna give it an 8.8.
I mean, like, I give it like thumbs up.
Yeah. Okay. I know it's hard.
Yeah.
So Tanya, you don't want to give it a rating? You're gonna give it a 10?
I'm bad at rating. Like,
okay.
I give everything a 10. That's why I can't rate books on Goodreads.
Okay.
Because everything is 5 stars.
What about you, Alicia? What do you want to give it?
I don't remember what I said on.
You gave it a funny number
Monday
last time. You gave it like an
Tuesday.
8.7.
Feels like what like a 8.8 or something like that.
Well, that's what I'm giving this one.
Yeah, I enjoyed the episode, but there's a few loose ends that I would like to see tied up at least by the end of the season.
Hi, Jay.
And that may change the score once we do like the full season recap. But yeah, so solid 8.8.
Oh, okay. So you and I are tied. We both gave it the same. I'm starting to wonder if Star Wars even has fans. There is just so much negative. Yeah, I think it's just there's a loud cohort of people, but I don't think that's the majority of the people. I think
the fanboys be angry sometimes.
I mean, the problem with a lot of fandoms, like all the assholes are like constantly online. Where like
they are
like the normal cool people are like don't engage that kind of way.
Correct. I agree.
I think A Song of Ice and Fire has fans still.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And there's a new book coming up, maybe.
Yeah,
because we're all here stuck waiting for George to give us the book.
And yeah.
Okay, so well, anyway, we had a really nice group of people here tonight. Well, we always do. Carl wasn't here though, so it felt a little quieter than usual.
Well, Carl was on the live stream yesterday.
He was on the live stream last night.
You know.
Yeah. So anyway, Carl, if you're watching this on the replay, we missed you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I miss Carl.
Oh, he loves you, Tatiana. And actually, I told him you were coming, so I don't know why he's not here.
He got scared. He
got scared that you were going to be here. Yeah.
Watching the Biden.
Oh, he might be watching the debate for sure. And I'm going to watch the highlights on that. That's going to be just awful, I'm sure. But okay. Well, thanks so much, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you to my lovely
Hashtag
guest.
Team Black.
Team Black.
I'm team small folk.
Team Black.
Bye, y'all. Bye, everybody.
Always bet on Black.
That don't crack.